I rank where the view is nothing less than phenomenal. For how I express and project from my abdominal. The only view better, both my daddy and my mama know. No living parents, my sons give me balance. My wife is my serenity, this mic is my identity. The world is foul enough, that's why I write without obscenities. Provoking danger with broken language and spoken anguish. Begging to get hurt, why would you ask to go through changes? Yes, Lord, life's a chessboard, master the angles. Control the tempo, be the one who holds the info. Acknowledge is just as deadly as machete swings. When spoken, the truth is as potent as that Medellin. While others swear the style is free, I just let it ring. Our time is undervalued, soldiers make us better kings. My fans on my shoulder, reaching after better things. Today I take the shot, for them I'd rather set the screen.
My mama told me follow my dreams. My daddy told me get it by any means. Stand tall, make him bow to a king. But I've evolved, you can see the result. Look in my eyes when you speaking to God.
Life and for those who be caught up in using what I was called with the muse. I guess they call it proving I'm more than an artist. Penciling out my darkest while stenciling out a harvest. And storing what gets me from A to B, just like garages. Instrumental with collages. Envision what I've been drawing. Broadway to give you rhythm like the great Lena Horne. So bent on, found comfort in the storm. Find peace and on when you see them others perform. Organized chaos, I'll cast it like hey ya.
Yo, party people in the place to be, what's good? It's the number one chief rocker in Knicks universe, Uncle Freezy, and welcome to the Knicks Morning Drive. Let's get this party started. Blue tears, orange tears, blorange tears. Let's go. Let's get it, y'all. Throw your hands in the air and wave them like you just don't care. And if you got some loot and a stick of juicy fruit, somebody say, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Scream. Yo, what's good, party people? What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? It's good to see y'all, man. Good to be with y'all. So this morning I want to do a NBA mock draft, go through the process of selecting players to what teams so that we can clarify who the Knicks may get or have to pass on. Who they may get and who we may have to pass on. And I'm saying this because I want to go through the exercise with y'all, because who we want may be there, but at the same time, an unexpected player may be there also, which may muddy the waters, so to speak. Harlem Girl, DSJ, Tiffin Smith, J. Boogie is in the building. King Ribby, not Zay. What's good? What's good, man? I see y'all. Tramel, what's good? Tramel, my man, what's good? What's good? Right, I see you. Almighty is in the building. Almighty Finesse is in the building. Chuck Allen is in the building. What's good with y'all? What's good? Shout out to all my peoples coming through, spreading love, getting this week started off on the right foot. Joe Madden. What's good? What's good, y'all? Okay. I see you. I see y'all. What's good? What's good, y'all? All right. So let me first start off with a quote by the great American poet, Grand Poobah. Grand Poobah says, now a lot of people think this is easy as it looks. Books and books of rhyme concepts and hooks. session to session to get thoughts manifested, stressing and stressing to hit the world with a blessing. I quote that because that's what I feel like every day. In our busy lives, sometimes it's hard for me to come through with the dopest content y'all deserve, but I'm gonna be here anyway. A to Z Media's in the building. Yo, yo, yo. What's good? Eric Serial is in the building. What's good? DSJ is in the building. What's good? What's good? So let me get started with the tip-off, right? Let me get started with the tip-off, right? Let me see. Tip-off starts with a T. Is that T capitalized? Yo, so for this tip-off, basically what I want to say is this. Y'all know my stance. I have a personal preference. I know a lot of you guys' stances. You guys have personal preferences. What I'm going to do today in this mock draft, is basically do best player available for the Knicks. I don't care about personal preferences and all of that stuff. What I'm going to do is do the best player I feel like is available at the time, whether I like that player or not. Right? And on top of that, I am going to take what I have gleaned from all these different sites that do draft coverage, such as Yahoo and The Ringer and all these different places, feed the rumor mill so that when you guys get to the pick, you'll see why we may be leaning one way more so than the other. Y'all ready to rock and roll? Let's go. Let's get it. Let me pull this thing up on the screen just real quick. Can y'all see that? Joe Madden, can you see that? Joe Madden. Joe, can you see that? $19 comment NYC says, enter Sandman, the closer Jay Boogie is in the building. Salute, 3 capital S's. What's good? All right, good. All right, got a text message. Ain't nothing, y'all. Let's get this party started, okay? Let's get this party started. I want to get this thing crunk up, okay? Right? I want to get this thing crunk up real quick. I'm going to try not to zoom through it, but I'm going to zoom through it, but I'm going to try not to, but I'm going to try to speed up where we can speed up and slow down where we can slow down, right? So first, let me say this, right? You see it here on the screen. Okay? Orlando picks 1, 32, and 35. Orlando has 3 picks in the top 35. They pick 1, 32, and 35. And I don't know why I tried to sound like Future from 8 Mile just now, but whatever. 32 and 35. All right. So with the number 1 pick in the NBA draft, we'll just go ahead and get this thing over with. we are going to give, wait a minute. Chet Holmgren's a power forward. Chet Holmgren's a power forward. They already have Wendell Carter, who's a big. They have Jonathan Isaac, who's a big. Robin Lopez is not part of the equation. They have Franz Wagner, who's a small forward, basically. Wow, they have Bol Bol. I didn't know that. I didn't know they had Bol Bol. They have Chuma Okeke, who's a talented young power forward that just needs minutes. Right? They have Mo Wagner. And some other dudes that ain't really even part of the equation. Right? There are some other guys that we ain't even worried about. Some dude named Iggy Brasdakis. He ain't nobody. Right? So this team is young and they have talent everywhere except small forward. They have talent everywhere except small forward, I believe. They have a point guard they took last year. Well, they do have Franz Wagner. This team has talent everywhere, y'all. So they have Franz Wagner as small forward. Okay. All right. Let's do this. Let's get this. I have a funny feeling they're going to trade this pick. I have a weird feeling Orlando's going to trade this pick. And why? It's because the guys that you pick one are duplicitous of their best players. Wendell Carter, Franz Wagner. Who they trade this pick to? I'm not sure. I'm not sure because if they go Jabari here, isn't Jabari blocking Franz Wagner? Right? If they go Paolo Banchero here, isn't he blocking Wendell Carter? If they go Chet here at power forward, that means Chet gets, yeah, I'm not for sure. If they go Chet here, basically if they go power forward, if they go power forward here, and they drafted Franz Wagner, signed Wendell Carter to an extension, right? Have Jonathan Isaac, have Chuma Okeke, who probably isn't even in the equation, but he's a nice young player. I could see them going a guard. I could see Orlando wanting to go a guard here. I could see Orlando wanting to go with an athletic guard here, either in a trade down scenario or a bold move scenario. Right? Here's the thing. Here's the thing. If you go Chet and Chet plays power forward, Jay Boogie, you might be right. You might be right, Jay Boogie, but there's something there. You have to think things through. In this sense, Jay Boogie, I think it's less of a do you want fries or onion ring scenario, and more of a long term, where you want to build your house scenario. It's more of a, do you want to live in New York or North Carolina type scenario that forces you to think and try to process this thing, and less of a, do you want fries or onion rings? You feel me? Because if you're Orlando and you get this pick wrong, there's no telling when you may get the number one pick. There's no telling when you be in this position again. The last time Orlando had the number one pick, they took Dwight Howard. That was 2004. Right? That was 18 years ago. Right? Joe, that's the reason. Exactly. Joe says, look at Orlando's guards. They have too many. They're going to go Jabari, should go Chet. I'm with you, but they also have too many power forwards. They have too many swing forwards, right? Because if you go Chet, that automatically means Wendell Carter is out of the equation, and you're not re-signing Mo Bamba. If you go Chet, what do you need Mo Bamba for? Right? And don't automatically assume that just because a guy is a free agent that he won't re-sign with his team. I.e. Mo Bamba re-signing with Orlando. I.e. Mitchell Robinson re-signing with the Knicks. Don't think just because a guy hit the door means he can't come back home. A to Z says Chet Bargnani. I don't know. I want to give them a little bit more credit than that, right? But it makes sense. It makes sense in a, listen, man. If I'm Orlando, I entertain that OKC trade up thing. If I'm Orlando, I entertain the Chet straight up. The OKC trade up to number one scenario, I entertain that thought. Right? Because if you're OKC, you have an abundance of picks. Right? And if you're Orlando, you can trade, you could take a chance at number 2. Because I see the Orlando Magic's future as, bear with me, Jalen Suggs at point, Jaden Ivey at the 2, Franz Wagner at the 3, Wendell Carter at the 4, and Mo Bamba. I think they're gonna re-sign Mo Bamba. I could see a scenario where OKC trades up to get the number 1 pick to get their hands on Chet and continue to develop that Euro style where SGA plays the 2, Giddey is the point, right? They go get them a small forward. I don't know from where. I don't know. They develop Pokusevski and they partner him with Chet Holmgren, and they rock out like that. Hey, not Zay. I said no Isaac, and I also said no Anthony. I think Cole Anthony was a surprise for them, and I also didn't mention Markelle Fultz. I didn't mention RJ Hampton. Yeah. Hey, John Talento was in the building. What's good, my brother? For the sake of this exercise, man, for the sake of this exercise, just so that we can move things along, just so, this is tough. This is tough, y'all. This is tough. I don't see Orlando actually drafting here. I see either Sacramento trading up. I can see Sacramento doing a trade up scenario here where they could get the center or power forward to go along with Sabonis. I think Chet and Sabonis is awesome. Chet and Sabonis is awesome here. Right? I could also see a Sacramento trading up in the draft to get a Jabari to play the 4 with Sabonis at the 5. Miss Geraldine is in the building. What's good? There are a number of directions that we could go in. Almighty Finesse says, man, hurry up with the pick already. I gotta pee. Okay, all right, Con. All right. We'll make the pick. Right? We'll make the pick. Let me see. I wish I could trade on these teams' behalf, but I can't. I wish I could trade on these teams' behalf. I really think Orlando would rather put a backcourt together of. I think Orlando would love to put a backcourt together of Jalen Suggs, Markelle Fultz, and Jaden Ivey. You talk about exciting. Yo, how much more exciting could your backcourt be with Markelle Fultz, Jalen Suggs, and Jaden Ivey? South BK, what's good? Let's say this. Let's do this. Because this pick is intriguing, y'all. I'm telling you, I think Orlando is having this, the Orlando's front office is having this same conversation. Do we just go Chet? Or do we go out and get the dynamic kid that is Jaden Ivey to go with the dynamic kid we drafted last year that is Jalen Suggs? 2 6'4" combo guards. Blazing. I'm sorry. 3 6'4" combo guards, all drafted in the top 5. Markelle Fultz, Jaden Ivey, Jalen Suggs, just zipping up and down the floor in today's NBA. All right. Okay. All right, I'll make the pick already. Jeez, man. All right. So with the number 1 pick in the NBA draft, the Orlando Magic take the safest pick possible and go with Chet Holmgren. They take Chet. The Oklahoma City Thunder are on the clock. The Oklahoma City Thunder are on the clock. Right? Now, we all know OKC needs a big. Right? They need a big. I mean, they played Derek Favors last year, man. I mean, come on. Man. They played Derek Favors at the 5-some last year. You know they need a big. Right? You know they need a big. Right? Do they go Paolo Banchero here? Or Jabari Smith? Guys and gals, I ain't even gonna lie to you. When a draft had Cash is in the building. What's up, Cash? Shout out to Cash. Cash, what's good? When a draft has its top 5 players, 4 of them are power forwards, it kind of puts you in the position of, do you go the best player available or do you trade out of the spot? That's why this is not easy. Right? And Bodega is absolutely right. They need wing defense. They need big wing defenders because they have Lou Dort, right? They have Lou Dort, but he's not a big wing defender. He's a dog, though. Right? They need a big wing defender, and they need shooting. And they need size on the inside. And Jabari Smith offers all of that. Plus, OKC has Teo Maledon, Trey Mann, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Josh Giddey, right? They have a lot of young talent, right? A lot of young talent. What they don't have is a beef eater on the inside. That's why no matter how you look at this draft, draft for OKC, you can go in a number of directions. Yeah, I'm sorry. Pause. Major pause. Right? But here's the thing. Y'all. They also pick again at 12. And guess who may be there for them at 12? Conman, guess who is there for them at 12? Mark Williams. They don't have to go power forward here. Right? They could legit go Jaden Ivey, Mark Williams, and leave the draft. Sam Presti can leave this draft looking like a genius. Bim. Sam Presti could leave this draft. Sam Presti can leave this draft looking like a genius. Jaden Ivey and Mark Williams. Jaden Ivey and Mark Williams. Right? Think about that. OKC, who has, listen to their picks now. They have 3 first-round picks. They have 4 picks in the top 34. They pick 1, 12, 30, and 34. And all that does is make me think, what is Leon Rose doing? Leon Rose, what are you doing? JJ, you right. You read my mind as usual. As usual. Right? I think, listen, I know that I'm a deep thinker, but sometimes JJ just read my mind like it's nothing. I'm a deep thinker, but JJ read my mind like it's a fast food menu. Right? Amani the Great, what's good? What's good? John Talento says, we should have gotten Sam Presti. Right. All right, so I'm going to do the first bold move, the first shakeup of the draft. At 2, the Oklahoma City Thunder take Jaden Ivey. Right? Now, the Houston Rockets are on the board. The Houston Rockets are on the board. Right? And here's the thing. They are also in a position where they don't have to take a power forward, right? They don't have to take a big here, right? And y'all see where I'm going with this, right? I'm not knocking power forwards. I'm not knocking bigs. I'm not knocking power forwards, y'all. I'm not knocking bigs. But what I am saying is, in a draft deep with these power forwards, why take one early if you have another pick in the draft? And surprise, unsurprise, surprise, unsurprise, surprise, unsurprise, the Houston Rockets pick 3 and 17. They picked 3 and 17, right? The Houston Rockets last year took Alperen Sengun, a good young big, right? An undersized big, right? They also took Usman Garuba, right? They also have Kenyon Martin Jr. Surprise, unsurprised, the Houston Rockets picked 3 and 17. Right? And if you're Houston here, do you take a gamble on a high upside guy, knowing that you have Jalen Green already in your backcourt? Or do you go big here? Right? Do you go big right here? Do you go big right here? Say, do you go Jabari Smith and then take another wing player later in the draft? If the Houston, and listen to me, hear me out. Yo, Ashley Inc. was good. Hear me out. Check this out. If Houston gets this right now, they may knock on the playoffs. If Houston gets this right here, they may knock on the playoffs. Right? Almighty Finesse says, just stop doing this. No, that's out. Jack D, what's good? JJ says Houston is definitely taking Banchero over Jabari Smith. But here's the thing. I don't think so. I think Houston needs the flexibility that Jabari brings, right? Houston needs the flexibility that Jabari brings. Houston needs this three-point shooting. Houston needs this big perimeter defender. Houston needs a sweet jump shooter, right? Do they need that at the power forward position? It doesn't matter. They need it. They need it. They need a knockdown shooter, right? Because as great as Jalen Green is going to be in the future, right now, he is not a knockdown jump shooter, right? He's not that yet. Will he become great down the road? Definitely. Right? All right. So here, right here, I'm going to say the Houston Rockets select Jabari Smith. Now, that brings us to this place where we feel like a team is going to try to get too cute. D. Ross, what's good? What's good? Not Zay says, I wish we can get Paolo. But let me do this, y'all. So check this out. The Sacramento Kings are on the clock. The Sacramento Kings needed Jabari Smith more than the Houston Rockets needed Jabari Smith, right? But they didn't trade to move up. They stayed pat. Now they have to pick in the spot where they're at. Subliminal 209 was good. Hey, Subliminal 209, congratulations on everything that happened over the weekend, man. Hey, congratulations, man. Everything that happened, man. And the show last Thursday was dope. The Sacramento Kings are on the clock. The obvious pick for them here would be a 6'10", 250 offensively skilled guy, right? But guess what? They already have a guy that's 6'10", 6'11", 250. They already have that guy. They already have a guy like that. They already have him. They have a Harrison Barnes already. Right? They have a Harrison Barnes. They have a, and the reason why I bring up Harrison Barnes is because I think Keegan Murray, production-wise, offers the same as a Harrison Barnes. A guy that's going to get you about 15 points a game. And I know Barnes will probably score more than that. But what I'm saying is a guy that's going to score you about 15 points a game on great efficiency. Right? And JJ, I see you. JJ says the Kings need a 3 and a 5. I disagree. I think the Kings need a 2. I think the Kings need a high upside 2. Right? They could use a 3. They could use a small forward here, right? But if I'm asking myself, who is the better player? Who's the better player, Dante DiVincenzo or Harrison Barnes? Dante DiVincenzo or Harrison Barnes? Dante DiVincenzo or Harrison Barnes? right? I honestly believe Harrison Barnes is the better player still. Right, Almighty Finesse. Right, Almighty Finesse. You and I agree. Right, so if Harrison Barnes is the better player, right? If Harrison Barnes is the better player, then that means the bigger need is the 2. Right? That means the bigger need is the 2. So that's why I entertain the thought of, and I know this is going to sound crazy, but I'm only entertaining the thought. I'm not saying this is the pick. Entertaining the thought of Benedict Mathurin, Johnny Davis, Dyson Daniels here. Or do you go absolute home run here? Do you go absolute home run here and go shady on Sharp? Shade on Sharp. If it's me pulling the trigger here, if it's me pulling the trigger for the Sacramento Kings, again, they picked here and 37 and 49. Right? 37 and 49 is where they also pick, right? I feel like I have to go. If I'm the Kings here, I have to go. I absolutely have to go with Shadon Sharp. I have to. I have to take the gamble on the high upside here, right? Because the normal route, just adding pieces to the puzzle, the Sacramento Kings are never going to catch the Golden State Warriors. They're never going to catch the Phoenix Suns. They're never going to catch the LA Clippers. They're never going to catch the LA Lakers. They're never going to catch the Utah Jazz. They're never going to catch the Memphis Grizzlies. They're never going to catch the Dallas Mavericks unless they take a home run swing and that swing pans out. C-Mac, check me out. They're never going to catch the Golden State Warriors. They're never going to catch the Dallas Mavericks, right? They're never going to catch the LA Clippers. They're never going to catch the Phoenix Suns, the LA Lakers, the Utah Jazz. Because getting an ordinary player to fit into that puzzle is not going to work. All those guys that I mentioned, right? All these teams that I mentioned, they basically have generational talent. All these teams that I mentioned, Golden State, Hall of Famers, Phoenix Suns, Hall of Famers, LA Clippers, Hall of Famers, LA Lakers, Hall of Famers, Dallas Mavericks, Hall of Famers, Utah Jazz, Hall of Famers, right? Memphis Grizzlies, for God's sake, potential Hall of Famers, right? Now, you could go the safe route and take Paolo here, but you already have a big. You already have a big and Sabonis. Are you going to do the same thing the Indiana Pacers did and then live to regret it? 2 bigs, no guards, or 2 bigs, 1 guard? I think you gotta go Shadon Sharp here. I think you gotta take the Kobe swing here, and for that reason, the Sacramento Kings select Shadon Sharp. The Indiana Pacers are on the clock, and this is so easy that anybody could do it, right? Right here, the Indiana Pacers are running, sprinting to the commissioner to take Paolo Banchero. I'm sorry. Sorry, who's on the clock right here? The Detroit Pistons are on the clock. Wait a minute. Detroit Pistons on the clock. And I think they're sprinting to the table. I'm sorry about that, y'all. I'm sorry about that. I think the Detroit Pistons are sprinting to the commissioner to take Paolo. Or wait. Yeah, Eddie C. Yeah, Eddie C. You right. My bad. Eddie C's like, no, the Pistons. No, I get it. I get what you're saying. I missed it. I had it scroll down like this. I had to scroll down, and all I saw was Indiana Pacers. I didn't look at the Pistons. Right? So I think that the Pistons are sprinting to the commissioner to take Paolo. Y'all think the Pistons are sprinting to take Paolo right here, right? Or do you think Paolo continues to slide? Or do you think the Pistons go and get do you think the Pistons get cute right here? Do the Pistons get cute right here, or do they take Paolo? Understand that the Pistons also have Jeremy Grant, Kelly Olynyk, Marvin Bagley, Isaiah Stewart, Sadiq Bey, Jamarco Pickett, he ain't nobody. Luka Garza, nobody. Guys, let me know. I'm with you. Why is Paolo still on the board? He should have been gone. I know. All right. Paolo to the Detroit Pistons. It's too easy. And I think this pick right here is too easy also. Keegan Murray to the Indiana Pacers. This is too easy. He's a perfect fit for what they're looking to do. But let's look at their roster. The Pacers have Ricky Rubio, Malcolm Brogdon, Buddy Hield, TJ Warren on a cap hold, Miles Turner, TJ McConnell. Bitadze is not, he's not but they have Jalen Smith. Wait a minute. This is where things get dicey. They have Jalen Smith. They have Tyrese Halliburton. They have Chris Duarte. They have Zay Jackson. Things are getting okay. Maybe we should we think about this? No, I don't want to think about this. I want to give the Pacers Keegan Murray. But they also have TJ Warren, Miles Turner, Jalen Smith. I don't know, y'all. Let's do it. No, let's not complicate it. Keegan Murray goes to the Indiana Pacers. Now, here is where things get dicey, right? Right? Here is where things get dicey, right? Right? And listen, let's not just go by what we saw in previous mock drafts. What we'd like to do is go by these teams' rosters, right? Because think about it. If there's a power forward available at the number 11 pick when the Knicks pick, are we really going to draft another power forward because some stupid mock draft said the Knicks need to go best player available and it's a power forward? Are the Knicks going to do that? You guys are going to see at 11, there are going to be duplicitous players on the board at 11, and some dumb mock draft is going to say, the Knicks need a shooting guard, or the Knicks need a small forward, because or the Knicks need a power forward, and there's a center available. Right? Right? But let's look at 7 what Portland is going to do. I'm not even going to lie to you. I think Portland wants the most NBA ready player that they can get their hands on. Right? I think Portland is going to take the most NBA ready player available. Right? That's what Portland wants. Portland doesn't want a 2-3 year project, because Damian Lillard by that time will be gone. They want to win now. Right? It's the reason why Sacramento had to go through all these scenarios, because Sacramento, their franchise wants to win now. Everybody in the conference has tasted some success except for Sacramento. Everybody in the conference tasted some success. Even the Pelicans tasted some success. Memphis tasted some success, but not Sacramento. And that's the reason why Sacramento wants to do this thing, right? And it's the reason why Portland wants to do this thing. All right. Portland needs a NBA ready player right now. Somebody that's going to come in and offer something right away. Right? Offer something right away. Let's look at Portland's roster just really quick. We all know they have Dame. We know they have Joe Ingles. They have the cap hold for Joe Ingles. They're not going to re-sign Joe Ingles. They have Eric Bledsoe. They have Nurkic's cap hold. We know they're not going to re-sign Nurkic, right? We know they have Simons and Josh Hart, right? The team option for Nasir Little, they may turn that down. Nasir Little hadn't done anything for them, right? Justice Winslow is a do-it-all player. He's not in their future plans. Keon Johnson, yeah. Ronnie, okay. They have these dudes. They're not going to re-sign any of these dudes, right? They need cap space. They're not going to re-sign any of these dudes. So basically, their core right now is Bledsoe, Lillard, Hart, Simons. That's about it. Right? So here is where I think the draft gets dicey. I think they need a young, bouncy big in the worst way. They need a young, bouncy big in the worst way, right? And I understand y'all feelings about Portland may trade this pick, but for this exercise where we're drafting in place, where we're drafting in the spot, here's where I think Portland makes a bold move. I think Portland makes the boldest of all bold moves here. And Portland takes Mark Williams, a center. Because they need a guy that's gonna give them an immediate thing. They need an athletic big that can contribute right now and contribute to their long-term plans. And I think Mark Williams is that guy. And why not Jalen Duren? Because the word on the street, and Knicks fans, he may be there at 11. And I know a lot of y'all are going to pound the table for Jalen Duren. But the word on the street is that Jalen Duren is 6'8" and not 6'10". And it's the reason why he hadn't done workouts and hadn't supplied measurements. He's done workouts and not supplied measurements. Jalen Duren is getting the college bump, right? The college bump. Oh, he's 6'10" and a half in shoes. No. Jalen Duren is from places that I've seen. Jalen Duren is 6'8", an undersized big. Jalen Duren is 6'8". Do you guys want a 6'8" center, 6'8 and a half center? He'll be listed at 6'9" or something like that in the NBA. Is that what you guys want at center? Portland Trailblazers, is that what you want for your center? An undersized 5, right? Is that what you want? For this Portland team, I say no. Right? And for the next team, I say no also. The New Orleans Pelicans on the clock. They pick here and they pick 41 and 52. We all know who New Orleans has. They have CJ McCollum, Brandon Ingram, Jonas Valanciunas, Zion Williamson, Devontae Graham, Larry Nance, Jackson Hayes, Kira Lewis, Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, Najee Marshall, Tony Snell. They have all these guys, but what they need more than anything is shooting. What they need more than anything is shooting. They don't need shooting guards, right? This thing says their main need is point guard and shooting guard. No, they don't need a shooting guard. They have CJ McCollum, Herb Jones, and Trey Murphy. They also have Garrett Temple, right? They don't need a shooting guard, right? And so with that said, I think the New Orleans Pelicans select AJ Griffin, a guy that can come in and address needs right away. They take AJ Griffin. Right? 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 AJ Griffin, a guy that's going to come in and shoot the ball, space the floor for Valanciunas, for Brandon Ingram, for Zion. The San Antonio Spurs are on the clock. The San Antonio Spurs have DeJounte Murray at point. They have Doug McDermott, Dougie McBuckets. They have Lonnie Walker, who I think they'll keep. They have Lonnie Walker at the 2. They have Josh Richardson at the 2. They have Jacob Poeltl. They have Zach Collins. They have Romeo Langford at the 2. They have Devin Vassell, undersized small forward that plays the 2 and 3. They had just drafted a shooting guard last year, and Josh Primo. They have Keldon Johnson, who plays the 2 and the 3. They have Keita Bates-Diop, who plays the 2, 3, and 4. They have Joe Wieskamp, who plays the 2. They have they have Trey Jones, the point guard. I think the San Antonio Spurs need a big. Right? I think the Spurs need a big. The Spurs also pick at 20, 25, and 38. the Spurs have, in my belief, and in my opinion, I think the Spurs need a big here. I think the Spurs are going to gamble on Jalen Duren. I think they're going to gamble on Duren. I think they're going to draft him and see if they can turn his multiple skills into something. The San Antonio Spurs at 9 are going to take Jalen Duren. The Washington Wizards are on the clock. They have weird needs, right? So here's their roster, okay? They have Bradley Beal, Kristaps Porzingis. Thomas Bryant is a free agent, but I think they'll re-sign him. They have team options for Rui Hachimura, a power forward. They have Denny Avdija, Ish Smith. They have Corey Kispert. They have Kentavious Caldwell Pope. That's about it. They have Tomas Satoransky, a combo guard. They have Vernon Carey, who's a short center. He's not undersized. He's big. He's just short. They have Jonathan Williams. They have Joel Ajayi. Wow, they have Joel Ajayi. Okay, on a 2-way deal. They have Isaiah Todd. What is the Wizards' clear need? Almighty Finesse, I'm absolutely with you. I'm absolutely with you right here. I'm absolutely with you. You read my mind. You read my mind like a fast food menu. I was trying not to be so forthcoming with this pick here. The mocks have him going here. I honestly believe Tata Washington may be the steal of the draft. I think Tata Washington is a lot better than what his tape says he is. I think Tata Washington played through multiple injuries. They desperately need a point guard. Yeah, hey, Bodega, I feel you. I think this is an easy pick for them. I think say Johnny Davis would be an easy pick for them right here. But they don't pick again until 56. And they don't have a point guard on the roster. They don't have a point guard on the roster. Now, you may go Dyson Daniels here, but is Dyson Daniels a point guard? Right? And here's the thing. You could go Benedict Mathurin, Johnny Davis, Malachi Branham here, and then sit them for the next 5 years behind Bradley Beal. Or you can get a compliment. Thank you. What's that? Okay. Or you can get a compliment to Bradley Beal and Porzingis and Tata. Joe Man says, maybe for the kids that got drafted to New York, the state city is right now the pressure of fan base and cut. Okay. All right. Keith Turner says he don't see it going down like this. Hey, you know what? It may not. It may, right? It may not. But what we need to consider is other teams have team needs too. We are Knicks fans. Looking at other teams saying, draft this guy because this is the best player available at this slot. What we should consider is that other teams have team needs also. Right? You can't just give nationally, you can't just say, give a guy this player because he's the 7th, 8th, 9th best player. Right? What we need to consider is that other teams have team needs too. And y'all are going to see that when the Knicks pick, you'll see you're going to be in a situation where you're like, why are we considering Jeremy Sohan when we already have RJ, Cam, and Obi at the 3 and 4? Why are we looking at Jeremy Sohan when RJ plays the 3, Obi plays the 4? Who is Sohan going to take minutes from? What about Cam Reddish? There's a lot to consider. Jay Busby, what's good? All right, so we'll get back to the Washington Wizards, right? I don't think the Washington Wizards are going to take Dyson Daniels. They're not going to take a project knowing that the time is ticking on Bradley Beal. Time is ticking on Kristaps Porzingis. I don't see them taking a project here in Dyson Daniels, even though I think he's an excellent kid. Right? I don't see them taking Benedict Mathurin here. Right? Their defense was atrocious last year. And so I don't see them taking a Benedict Mathurin here. I don't see them taking the high upside play. Right? I see them going out and getting somebody that can contribute right away. Right? And so the two players that I'm looking at that can contribute right away, Johnny Davis, as a guy coming off the bench for them, and Ty Washington. Johnny Davis and Ty Washington. Right? And so Knicks fans, if Johnny Davis goes here and Ty Washington is on the board, you know what the conversation is like in the next pick. Right? So just for the sake of speeding this up, the Washington Wizards are going to take Johnny Davis. All right, the New York Knicks are on the clock. It's time to get busy. The New York Knicks are on the clock. The New York Knicks have this pick, the 11 pick, and the 42 pick. The New York Knicks are also over the salary cap. So any trade is going to be complicated because they're over the cap by $166,000. And they did this intentionally. Knicks fans, this is part of the conversation. This is part of the conversation that we don't talk about, right? This is the part of the conversation that we don't talk about. The New York Knicks are intentionally over the salary cap so that they could get the exceptions that go along with a team operating over the salary cap. The Knicks are not over the cap by a lot of money for a reason. They're over the cap for the things that come along with, right? Like the biannual exception, right? Potential trade exceptions. A trade exception where they eat a certain amount of salary, so that they'll have a trade exception for a future trade. Say, for instance, they eat a certain amount of salary, and then when it comes to, say, trading for Donovan Mitchell, they'll have that trade exception in place where they can give that trade exception to Utah as an enticement to give us Donovan Mitchell. Right? Right? The mid-level exception, the veteran, the mid-level exemption, the biannual exception, and all these things as a team that operates over the cap. Let me read the roster to you so you won't make any rash decisions. The Knicks have Julius Randle at $26.1 million. Wow. Evan Fournier makes $18 million with 3 years left. Derrick Rose, good Lord, man, makes $14.5 million with 2 years left. RJ Barrett at $10.9 million. That's our baby boy. RJ ain't going nowhere. We love RJ. Alec Burks at $10 million for 2 more years. Nerlens Noel at $9.2 million for the next 2 seasons. Kemba Walker makes $9.1 million. The Knicks have Cam Reddish's team option of 5.9, which is nothing. They have Obi's first team option of 5.3, which is nothing. Taj Gibson makes $5.1 million. Taj Gibson makes $5.1 million. And I'm pissed about that. Taj Gibson makes $5.1 million and has signed 2 contracts with the Knicks. Mitchell Robinson makes $1.7 million. That's a crying shame. Archie, right? Archie Akinino makes the same money as Mitchell Robinson. Archie makes the same money as Mitchell Robinson. And yes, that's why I'm mad. The New York Knicks are on the clock. Right? The New York Knicks are on the clock. And I'm just going to put it out there right now. If this scenario happens right here, if the Knicks are in this situation with Dyson Daniels, Ben Mathurin, Ousmane Dieng, Malachi Branham, Jeremy Sohan, Tata Washington, Jalen Williams, Dalen Terry are all on the clock. I'm telling you right now, my 2 favorites are Ben Mathurin and Ousmane Dieng. But I'm going to listen to you guys. What I want you to do is convince each other who the Knicks should pick right here. Who is the pick right here, y'all? John Talento, who's the pick? Jay Boogie, who's the pick right here? C-Mac, who's the pick right here? Almighty Finesse says Mathurin. Mr. Vince says Dyson Daniels, a combo guard. C-Mac says Mathurin. Nick D says Mathurin. Chef NYK says Mathurin. Stop It Video says Mathurin easily. Joe Madden says Matherin. Hardwell says Ben Might. Tremel says, hey, Tremel, what's good? Says Matherin. Alfred Griffin says Jovic. JJ says Matherin. Not Zay says Matherin. So the consensus right here is Ben Matherin. And with the number 11 pick in the NBA draft, the New York Knicks select Benedict Matherin. All right, so I'm going to shoot through these next few just so that we can hurry up and get to 42 so that we can open up the chat, right? OKC. Wait a minute, who's on the clock? OKC is on the clock. The last time they picked Jaden Ivey. And so I'm going to give them a small forward and Ousmane Dieng. Right? Who's on the clock? The Charlotte Hornets are on the clock. They already have a point guard. They might need a 2. Last year they drafted the kid from Connecticut. They already have a great small forward, right? They still have Gordon Hayward. They have Terry Rozier. They have Montrezl Harrell. I don't see a center for them to get. So they suck defensively. So I'm going to give them Jeremy Sohan. The Cavs are on the clock. They need a shooting scorer in the backcourt with Darius Garland. And I know they have basically they need a big guard that can score. And I'm going to give them Malachi Branham. Charlotte is on the clock. They need defense. I'm going to give them another wing defender and Tari Eason. So one team drafted Tari Eason and Jeremy Sohan. Imagine that. The Atlanta Hawks are on the clock. They need shooting and defense. They have why does ESPN have Gallinari listed as a shooting guard? ESPN is so backwards, man. Why does ESPN have Gallinari listed as a shooting guard? This is so dumb. And look at this. Where is it? Where is it? Danilo Gallinari, shooting guard, 6'10". Come on, man. ESPN, just stop it. What does Atlanta need? Atlanta needs somebody that can contribute right away. Right? They need somebody that can contribute right away. I'm going to give them Ochai Agbaji. The Houston Rockets are on the clock. Their last pick was Jabari Smith. Right? And we'll give them, since they're rebuilding, we'll give them Dyson Daniels, the point guard from the G League. The Chicago Bulls are on the clock at 18. The Chicago Bulls need a lot of stuff. I could see them taking Ty Washington. The Minnesota Timberwolves are on the clock. The T-Wolves need backcourt playmakers. They also need size at small forward. Let's give the T-Wolves Jalen Williams. The San Antonio Spurs on the clock. With their first pick, they took Jalen Duren. Right? let's give them. I'm looking for some size. They drafted a shooting guard last year. Let's say the San Antonio Spurs select Nikola Jovic. The Denver Nuggets are on the clock. This is easy. The Denver Nuggets need a point guard that can play make. They have too many combo guards. Jamal Murray is a point guard that is a combo guard in spirit. Or a Jamal Murray is a combo guard that is a point guard in spirit. I think Kennedy Chandler is probably the best fit right here. Kennedy Chandler to the Denver Nuggets. Memphis needs a tough, gritty cat, and EJ Liddell fits right in. That's easy. Let me look at my chat. Let me see what the chat is doing. I know. But here's the thing, y'all. Here's the thing. Every year somebody falls in the draft. It's not like this is, every year somebody falls in the draft. Last year, I think it was James Bouknight that fell in the draft, that slid in the draft. I think Trey Mann may have fallen in the draft, I think. Okay. All right, so I'm going to speed through and do these last few, right? All right. The Sixers are on the clock at 23. I think they need a backup for Joel Embiid. We'll go Walker Kessler, probably the best defensive center in the draft. The Milwaukee Bucks pick at 24. They need a shooting and defense. Jaden Hardy. The San Antonio Spurs are on the clock. I think this is the Spurs need a big. There are no more bigs up here. There are no more bigs. I could see them taking Jake LaRavia, the sweet shooter from Wake Forest. Let's do that. All right. Dallas is on the clock. Dallas needs playmakers. Let's say Marjan Beauchamp. Scorers is what they need. Miami is on the clock. I think Miami needs front court depth. I don't see a front court guy that's worth it this high. Miami needs front court help. I'm going to say Kendall Brown. Trying to rush through this so we can get to the Knicks pick. I wish there was a sim button. I wish there was a way we could just sim it so that we can get to. There's an auto pick button. Okay. So I'm just going to click on auto pick until we get to 42, y'all. Auto pick. Okay. All right. All right. So we're in the second round. Oh, is it only doing? Okay. So it only let me do one round. So, okay. All right. So let me take this off. Let me do this. Let me throw the link in the chat so I can get my people in here so we can talk about what we just heard. Just want to get my people in the chat so that we can chop this thing up. I just put the thing in the chat. I just put the link in the chat. Joe Madden. What's good, boss?
What's happening? What's happening, buddy? How you doing?
Good, man. This is your dream scenario, right? Ben Mathurin to the Knicks.
My dream scenario is I would take Johnny Davis over Ben Mathurin just because of shot creation. But I don't see either of them being there. I see both of them being taken. Johnny to me is more realistic to fall just because of lack of athleticism. I think Ben Mathurin's size and athleticism he's going to go ahead of Johnny, but I don't think either of them are going to be there.
You don't think either will be there. That means you think Jalen Duren or Dyson Daniels is going to fall.
No, Duren's going to be there. I think Dyson Daniels is going to go. I think Dyson Daniels is getting the. I like Dyson Daniels, but to me, he's giving me the Dante Exum vibes. He's a guy that was in the mid-20s the whole process, and then close to the combine, the measurements come in. Next thing you see him in the top 5 in some mocks.
Yeah.
So I think someone's going to reach. Portland might take him if they don't trade back. I could see Indiana doing it and trying to pair him and Halliburton as a strong defensive backcourt.
But they have Brogdon.
They're going to trade Brogdon.
I don't think a team is going to trade for Brogdon, bro. So name the team that's going to trade for. Name the team that's going to trade for Brogdon.
I could see Washington doing it.
The Wizards.
Wizards could trade 10. And could be trading 10 and I don't know, like Caldwell Pope or something, matching salary in 10 for Brogdon in a couple of seconds or something like that.
Do they need to match salary though? Let me see.
They need a point guard. Bradley Beal, if he re-signs, that's all if he re-signs. Because if he doesn't re-sign or if he opts out, they're going to go into a rebuild. They'll keep their pick. But I could see them. Going for Brogdon just to keep Beal happy.
Yeah, that's intriguing that you say that. But if you trade for Brogdon, that means the Wizards they're going all in on veterans. Because you don't trade a pick for a veteran to have 3 veterans, Porzingis, Beal, and Brogdon, and not scrap the rebuild that you were working on.
Well, see, I think they already done that by bringing on Porzingis, and it all depends now what Beal's option, because they'll keep Beal, they'll give Beal whatever he wants. It's all on what he wants to do, and I think he's going to stay. So if you're bringing in Beal and you have Porzingis, there is no rebuild. There's win now, because you're going to be paying Beal $40 million over the next 5 years. You ain't rebuilding. You're trying to win something or be competitive, which I think it's a mistake for them, but. I think it's what they're going to do. But
you're saying it's a possibility, though. We're talking about the possibility.
Possibility. Yeah,
we're not taking our reputations on this, right? I mean, nobody's taking their reputation on name. It's just a possibility. Think about one team might do it. I asked you to name one, and you name one. Right?
Yeah. Washington, because you look at it too as weak point guard class. Their biggest weakness is point guard.
Yep.
They have young wings. I don't like some of their wings are okay, but they're young, so I don't see them moving off a lot of them. Right. Point guard's the position they need.
I think their wings are ham sandwiches, bro. I think Corey Kispert, Rui Hachimura, Deni Avdija, I think all of them are ham sandwiches, bro. I look at that team, I'm like, I can't even tell who is who. Nobody stands out.
Yeah.
Except Bradley Beal.
I was never a fan of Deni. Like, I thought it was ridiculous him going to go. There was talks of him going to the Bulls at 4 in that draft. And then Corey Kisper's all right, but they haven't given him much to playing time. He got more playing time late, but I think he should be in. He's a shooter. He's what they need. But the other guys, they're not. Nobody stands out. They're average at best. Then you got Kyle Kuzma, Pope. So they loaded up on average wings. So unless they decide to make a move and move off some of these wings, I see them trying to do point guard. And unless they reach for Ty or trade back, I could see Brogdon being a big opportunity for them.
I could. Well, good point. Good point. So you guys, so you made your case for certain guys going earlier and then certain guys sliding. Because if Washington trades the pick to Indiana, like you mentioned, the 10 pick for Malcolm Brogdon, right? Then that means Tata slides down the board because Indiana is not going to trade a point guard to take a young point guard that has question marks.
No, well, to me, Freezy, Ty is not a lottery pick. To me, he'll go in that like Minnesota, like anywhere between like 15 to 25 range. He's not going into the top 10 unless the Knicks or Washington, who are the only two teams that really are heavy for a point guard, unless one of us reach.
Right.
And reach heavy. Because to me, he's a trade, like the Knicks bringing him in that's a trade back target.
Right. I think the Knicks are probably I think the Knicks' target is Dyson Daniels, right? From all the research that I've done and people that I've spoken to, and they're not real big people that I've spoken to, they really like the Dyson Daniels kid. He's got the personality of like maybe an Obi. You know what I'm saying? Like the real humble kid, happy to be here, gonna give you everything he's got. You know, but the only thing though is in order for him to be a Knick, he's got to play point guard, right? There is no scenario where he can come to the Knicks and be a 2 or a 3, right? Because you have your 2 and 3 of the future already, right? So you can't really you can because you can't bring him in and take minutes away from Grimes, and you can't bring him in to take minutes away from RJ. What's up, Cash? What's good, man?
Hey, what's going on? What's good, guys?
And man, you got the beard growing. Oh boy!
No, I just need to shave, man.
Life is good somewhere.
No, I just need to shave. That's just laziness. I shave.
How you been, brother?
I'm good, man. I'm good. What's good?
Hey, man, we did the mock draft, right? And
I'm checking it out.
The thing about the mock draft is it makes you think like, damn, these teams ahead of us have so much young talent.
Yeah.
It's not even fair.
Yeah, it is. What's going to be interesting, and you notice it happens in every draft, so it's going to be a hiccup. It's going to be a hiccup. It's going to come. And I think your mock draft just gave a scenario of a hiccup that's going to come.
Right.
Now, it may not be that. It may not be the way you just went about it, but it's going to come at some point. And the effect of that is who we are going to draft.
Right.
Now, in your particular scenario, Benedict Mathurin fell to us, which, personally, that's whom I like for us to have. Right. But it's going to be someone. The person in your scenario that fell was Banchero, which made it interesting on other teams as to decide which direction to go. Now, who that individual is going to be when it's time? Whoa, when it's time, I don't know. But something, the other shoe is going to drop, and it's going to make the draft very interesting. And
but based on
whatever those moves are, it's going to be interesting to see who we're going to get. But I think it boils down to just a couple of people, because I can't see all of them going. I like Mathurin, which I hope we could get.
Yeah.
It may be Johnny Davis, whom we get, which is a possibility based on how the chips fall. It could be Sohan, whom we can use in a situation. And it's sad to say, I shouldn't say sad, because I'm not that I'm not high on him, but I don't see the fit as regards to the Knicks would be Dyson Daniels. but I think it'll be one of those, or I got to throw in Branham, but I don't know if he's worth selecting that high. I think you could trade back and still possibly get him.
Man,
but I
if they
think it
take
may be one of those four based on what that hiccup's going to be. And just my take, I think is going to be Sacramento, because Sacramento is, that organization is, not been, top notch, over time. I mean, I know we I know we hate on our organization in the front office, but Sacramento's haven't been good neither. So
I think it's the Spurs, bro.
There.
I think the benefit for us is there's 2 or 3 organizations ahead of us that have owners wrapping the whip to get something done and start making playoff pushes.
Right.
So when you have GMs thinking too much of win now, somebody's going to make a pressure move, or even 2 teams might make a pressure move and reach.
Right.
And that's when guys start. We seen it last year, even like Primo, to me, was like a late first round, early second rounder. He went San Antonio. Like San Antonio's one of the teams been making some questionable picks lately.
Yeah.
So,
and just I want just to throw a joke in there. If the Knicks take Malachi Branham, bro, it let me know that the GM, the team president don't know what he's doing. He just taking names out the Bible, bro. That's all he's doing. He just taking names out the Bible, bro. That's all he's doing. If he take Malachi Branham, it let me know Leon Rose is just looking in the Bible, picking names. Like, Lord bless us, please, man, let this pick be good.
If he moves back a couple of spots, like, I don't mind what he's doing. If he moves back 2 spots and picks up an extra second, just move back a few spots. To me, he's not like. To me, I look at this 11 pick in this draft as, to me, it's the top 10 pick. To me, because somebody up there is going to reach, so you're going to get a top 10 talent. You don't, when that top 10 talent's there, you don't take Branham, who to me is in that like 13 to 17 range. So you trade back, but it all depends who's on the board.
Okay.
But I don't know. He could be a trade back.
Why? But why would you trade back for a second in a draft that really doesn't have that much talent, knowing that you could just trade one of your picks from next year to move up earlier in the draft? Like,
no, what I'm saying now, like what I do, like what the front office has done, and we've seen it with them, is they're trading back and loading up like on future seconds. They rather move back 2-3 spots and pick up some sort of little asset than take a guy 2 or 3 spots too high or whatever. So
I think they're going to move up.
We've seen them. They're going to try and move up, but I don't think they might not stay still. I think they're going to move up, and if they can't move up and get their guy, and if no one that they like is there at 11, like Johnny Davis and Mathurin and Dyson Tiny, these guys are gone at 11, they're going to move back.
Yeah, but when it comes to the second, I'm thinking that at least move up from, like, we're right now in the second round. I believe it's at number 42, somewhere around there. I think they're going to try and move up from number 42. So if I see them moving back from, like, I don't know, let's say, like, what are we at? 11, move back to like 13, 14, somewhere around there. If we did that, picked up an extra second, I think between this year and next year, I think it's mostly next year, we have like 8 second-round picks.
Yep.
They got to consolidate some of them, because like that high school draft isn't happening. Like, they didn't pass no CBA for that.
Right.
Something to do medicals or something. So that's going to be reevaluated. I think, was it someone on Knicks Fan TV 25? Said like 2025 or something?
Yeah, 25. Yeah.
So you have like 2 firsts and 5. So you have like 6-7 picks next year, and you got to move a lot of them.
Yep. And that's classic Knicks too. That's classic Knicks. The year we prepare for Armageddon, they're like, no, we're gonna bump Armageddon back just a couple more years. That's classic Knicks. And now what do you do with all those second round picks, Joe?
Well, you could kick them second down picks down the road again and be like, all right, we'll start moving some of them for like 2027 or whatever.
But the value of those picks won't be the same, because you acquired them thinking that you were going to be in a deep draft, right? But now that the draft is not going to be deep, they don't hold the same value, right? Yeah. So you can try to kick them to 27. But 27 is 5 years away, and you don't know what that draft class is going to look like.
Yeah, I think the power of having the picks is to use as insurance policies in moving players. I think this draft, we could use it as a twofold process. One, also in acquiring talent, but also keep in mind too that there's individuals that we need to move out. So if we can move those individuals out and attach one of those excessive picks that we have, we're accomplishing two purposes in the same night, where we're acquiring a future talent and also getting rid of some of that logjam, some of those guys that are on expiring deals to help clear up some space, and also at the same time acquire some talent that fits the mold that we're looking for as we move forward in the future. So, in this jigsaw puzzle, if we can accomplish, as they say, kill two birds with one stone, hey, why not?
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, Cash, you ever killed a bird with a stone before?
No, I haven't. I'm just basing it off the saying, man.
No, I know. It's weird that people say that, like, kill two birds with one stone.
Yeah, I did clock somebody with a rock back in my day, and I got my father administered some discipline for that, but that's another story for another day.
Yeah, man.
But they go Wi-Fi said, look, that's true, Freezy. The penalty for tampering, because we're going to be doing a lot of tampering, so the penalty for tampering, second round picks. Now makes sense why they've been loading up on them.
Yeah, because we need to tamper for sure. We need to, but Joe, to your point, and I don't want to let it go untouched, man. But you and Vids both said something that's intriguing to me. For one, you said 11 is like a top 10 pick. And somebody will slide, right? And Vids also mentioned the trade up scenario where you may not trade down using the 11 pick, but trade up using the 42 pick, right? But Vids, listen, here's the thing. Who do you trade up? Who do you, in that scenario, who are you targeting? Kai Soto?
No. Kai Soto is to sell tickets, not to play basketball.
I mean,
you couldn't use a draft, any sort of draft pick on him.
Really? You think he's going to go undrafted?
No, I didn't know. Someone's going to take him because there's this Kai Soto army, this fan base and tickets and money, and somebody's going to take him. It's like DeLeangelo Ball, someone that didn't draft him when someone threw him in the G League just to sell tickets. Kai Soto to me is the same thing. Like him, like 4 years ago was supposed to be like a top 5 pick. And then people because of his size, then he actually started playing basketball. And then he went the last 2 drafts, he pulled out because he wasn't going to be drafted. And I think if someone's going to draft him, I just don't think it'd be a good idea for the Knicks.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to get to, like, I don't even think he'll make it in the G League. He's way too slow.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I understand where you're coming from. I think that the Knicks are in a situation where we can come away from draft night feeling like we lost, even if we make a good pick. You know what I mean? Like say, for instance, if we come away from the draft with Mark Williams and Alondas Williams, right? We could still leave the draft like we addressed positions of need, but we didn't really do anything. You know what I mean? It's like when we drafted Hubert Davis. It's like we needed shooting, but what did we really get?
Kevin Knox was a position in need. Where did that get us?
But what did we really get? Yeah, that's my point. That's my point. And so if I'm Leon Rose, I'm either trading up to get a swing at a home run. Right, like for instance, you remember? So a few minutes ago, right, one of the projected top 3 players fell out of the top 3, right, and was sliding down the board. Now, if Leon Rose pulls off a move to say if it's Jabari Smith, right, starts to slide down the board. If Leon Rose mortgages the farm to get Jabari Smith, you know what? I can deal with that. right? Because at least we did something aggressive, right? And if we have Randle, Obi, and Jabari Smith, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, so we got 3 power forwards. So what? So be it.
None of them are good.
And yeah, I know. But at least he did something aggressive, right?
Yeah.
But
Have you got?
Oh, so go ahead, Cash.
No, I was gonna say, have you? I mean, have any? I'm sure all of you guys have played games, whether it's a card game, whether it's spades, poker, or even if you play chess, and you're in the midst of a game, and you see certain moves that are made in the process of the game. Sometimes you have to make what is called an impulsive decision. Now, Freezy, to your point, impulse could be a good thing if it turns out well. And in the case of for our New York Knicks, seeing how the draft goes down, we might have to make an impulsive decision as we all agree to move up if we can. And that means making an impulsive move. Now, in order to be successful in making this impulsive move, let's say in a game of chess, because I always make reference to chess.
Yeah,
you gotta make some.
I'm a chess master. You
gotta make some sacrifices, and those pawns are usually the first to go. There's a couple. You may
it depends.
Lose a rook.
It
you
depends
may lose a rook or a knight, but
it depends on how you play, though.
Yeah,
like, are you aggressive?
Are
you aggressive in the middle of the board? I'm not aggressive in the middle of the board because I know I can attack the middle of the board from angles.
Right.
I know I can use my bit. I can use my yeah. So I don't need the combat to be in the middle. Yeah.
You see where I'm going with this, and so the end result is, as you mentioned, to your point, Freezy, and also to you, Matt, it's either going to be a home run or checkmate. It's going to be one or the other, because when you think about it, we're starting year 3. This regime is in year 3. So at this point, they're going to have to do something that's going to move the needle. We just talked about, past draft picks, and we fitted a need, but it didn't really move the needle. So they may be at a point where they need to move the needle. So in order to move the needle, seeing how this plays out, they might have to make an impulsive move. Now it's a danger in making this impulsive move because we may strike out. But then again, look at the track record. We picked Frank Ntilikina, 8th pick. Look where he is.
Mm-hmm.
We picked Porzingis. Look where he is. Well, actually, we got some. We kind of compensated for him. Kevin Knox. Right now, as it stands, we have the equivalent of Cam Reddish, and how that's going to turn out, we don't know yet. I mean, we could certainly use him as a trade chip and flip him to get.
Oh yeah. To me, he's going to be the first one out the door. When you hearing these reports that Tibbs didn't want him, I think he's one of the first ones out.
Yeah. All right, hey, let's pause. Let's pause right here for just let's pause right here for just a split second. Hold on. I'm gonna come right back to you, Cash.
Okay.
Let's get it. Y'all be spitting with your flows, I'm just podcasting.
That's right.
On the air every day, I'm just podcasting. You don't know what that mean when I say I'm podcasting. I'm broadcasting these flows with the podcasting. Every day of my life, I'm just podcasting.
Right.
Share my dreams with you, mean I'm podcasting. You can see my vision through the podcasting. But don't forget J Boogie when I'm broadcasting. I'm podcasting, he's podcasting. I've been spitting this venom since Karate Flicks. When Mr. Sales was sharing nothing but the Knicks. I guess you know by now, I seen some tough years. Now I know the reason why Freezy got them blowing tears.
J Boogie, what's good?
Hello to Monday to you guys, man. Good Monday morning to everybody. Good early afternoon Monday to everybody. Shout out to all y'all great men rocking. Shout out to the whole chat, everybody, man. What's good, man? I see we're doing mocks. What we gonna do with the 11th pick? Nobody knows what we gonna do with the 11th pick. Maybe we ought to just trade the 11th pick, but that's up to the office to go ahead and trade the pick. But whatever you do, don't mess up that pick and don't mess with 2023 pick. I'm just foreshadowing with the 11th pick. Just spit a little bar real quick.
No doubt.
Yo, how you doing, Freezy?
Hey man, I'm good, man.
Okay.
I'm good. I got a puppy that's keeping me alive, bro. Keeping things lively around here. You know what I'm saying? Little pit bull, but man, he ain't even 4 months old yet. All he do is yap. And
Okay.
eat.
What's going on with y'all men on the panel, man? How y'all doing? I ain't seen some of y'all in a while.
Hey, what's up, Jay Boogie? How you doing?
Good, man.
Man,
We good,
man.
Boogie. We good, man.
Blessings.
Jay Boogie, we might leave this draft not excited. Like we might leave this draft meh. Like we might pick at 11 and not be excited about the kid that we get. Right? In previous drafts, when we took Obi, bro, we were excited. Excited not only that we took Obi, because some people loved Obi, but some people liked the fact that the pick did not look like a bust from day one.
Right. And don't forget the most important third thing. They liked it. They picked because they thought we was getting ready to get rid of Julius.
Yeah.
So
see, but in this draft, we might do something duplicitous, right? Like draft a shooting guard small forward, and it threatens the development of Cam Reddish, RJ Barrett, and that player, right? Because we have positions of need right now at point guard and at center. Even if we draft Mitch, even if we resign Mitch, we still have a need at center, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like people think it just because if we resign Mitch that the whole center thing is over with. Nah, because Mitchell Robinson is a career 8-8 guy that shoots for a high percentage, but his free throw percentage has been getting worse and worse game by game, right? And his contract year is the only year that he really actually stayed healthy and on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It made it been available, right?
That's why you got to watch paying him. The number has to be right.
Right. We actually need a compliment to Mitchell Robinson, right? Because if Mitch is going to do his things the way that he does it, we need somebody that's going to do the stuff that Mitch can't do and be available. We need a guy that's going to, a center, a big that's going to shoot about 70% from the floor, right? That's going to be able to pull defenders away from the basket so that RJ can drive, right? A guy that can pass so that when that guy and Randle is on the floor, when the double teams come, Julius Randle won't be double and triple team. It's frustrating, right? Because when Mitch and Randle play together, you already know you can send the double team, triple team towards Julius, because if Mitchell Robinson catches the ball away from the basket, he ain't gonna do nothing with it.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. Same thing for Nerlens Noel, right? It's the reason why Taj Gibson got so many minutes at the 5, because at least Taj can shoot a little bit, or is not afraid to shoot. Taj can dribble a little bit, dribble in space. So we need a compliment. The perfect scenario, in my opinion, the Knicks trade back to 11, right? Get Mark Williams at 13 and a wing defender at 15, right? A big wing defender, Tari Eason, Jeremy Sohan, whoever's there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do we need guard help? Guard is our biggest weakness. In my opinion, we have the worst guards in the NBA, period. Right? And I don't mean that to disrespect our team. I'm not disrespecting the logo. I'm not disrespecting the franchise. But when you look at our numbers from the floor, our field goal percentage is atrocious, and we were last in assists. So you can't shoot, you can't score, and you can't pass. What can you do at guard? Oh my goodness! Oh my! Look at this. Bim! My brother's in the building.
Hey,
Mr. Vince, how you
Uncle
doing?
Freezy. All right. Hey guys, how you doing?
Mr. Vince, how you doing?
Man, look
Good.
at this.
Good to see everybody.
That's
Good
what's
to see you,
happening.
man. How you doing?
Doing great.
Man, I'm excited, man. I saw you pop up backstage. I just knew it was gonna be a good day, man. How your day going?
Oh, it's great, man. Anytime I see my boys up on the Nick Morning Drive, and my younger brother, my superhero Jay Boogie, I'm ready, man.
Thank you, sir, man. It is great to always see you, man. And I'm glad that you popped up because that gives us a chance to spend more time with you live instead of, reading and answering things that you put inside the chat, man. So, yeah, it's a blessing when I see you too, Mr. V. And it looked like my other brother just
Man. And
pulled in this.
this is an all-star assembly. We got Hardwell here too. Oh my God.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Salute, y'all. What's good? Good morning, fellas.
AM to the AM, my brothers.
Good to see all of y'all.
So all I want to know is when can I get my autographed Castle Knicks jersey? When is that on deck? When can I expect that? 2024? 24?
Man, if Castle go to the Knicks, man, that'd be like a dream come true. Crazy. You know?
He a point guard, right? 6'7"?
He's 6'6" right now, probably 6'7". I ain't seen him in a couple months, but yeah, 6'6", 6'7" point guard. Why he work for the Knicks is because he plays the right basketball. That's why they just won a gold medal yesterday. Even though,
hey, congratulations, bro.
Yeah, Team USA, they went undefeated U18.
Right.
But the reason why I think he made the team was because he a pass first player to be talented. And I tell him that's what the scouts and the pros is interested in you for, because of the fact that, like when I talk to college scouts, they tell me like what they looking for, and pro scouts like really college scouts, they say everybody can shoot on this level. So it's about who's going to make the right play. Or most of these players can shoot. So now they have to figure. And in the NBA, you still see that going on, where players don't know how to make the right play, where they either trying to prove themselves too much and not just looking to see the play that's developing.
Right.
Man, that's wonderful, man. That's wonderful.
Yeah, man. Oh my goodness. Bro, if that happened, because he coming out in the Bronny draft, right? Or he might be eligible to come out in the Bronny draft, right?
We never know. They might take the rule away.
They may. They talked about it when they talked about it for next year, but I don't think it's going to happen because of some kind of OSHA thing where kids 17 and 18 years old can't supply certain it's just a lot.
But once they change the rule in reference to college players making money now and able to make money, that kind of threw that whole 1 year college out the window, because they was keeping that rule in stone so the colleges continue to make all that money off of the NBA talent before them passing or skipping college. So now that changed, we never know if it may go back that way. That's why even certain things already started where you got elite. It was already programs where you could leave high school and go and make a couple $100K to play in the elite.
In the G League.
No, it's not the G League. It's something else. It slipped my mind right now, but it's damn, I can't think of the name. But it's
the overtime elite.
Overtime elite. There we go. It was a kid that was on my nephew's team in high school that didn't even go to his 12th grade year and went to overtime elite, and he made like $200K. And they said they lose their eligibility, but they went back and said now those kids could go to school. So that was just a great opportunity for kids to make money. And the NBA drafts and the NBA teams already looking at those players as well, So when you see stuff like that, it's changing on how teams are going to acquire players. and players gonna go pro and stuff like that because they letting them make money before they even in the 12th grade now.
Yeah, man. Who you talking about? Scoot Henderson?
It's a lot of dudes that's in overtime elite, players from all over.
Okay.
And it was a league that they had, but this was the first year they started it, where
You got the Thompson twins over there.
Yeah, it's a lot of good players over there.
Yeah, Thompson twins, they're good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man.
I think there's a couple of guys this year that are going to go like late first, early second. I think Jan Molito, I think is his name, a point guard. I think he was over there.
Yeah, Montero, yeah.
Exactly.
Montero,
so now
yeah.
it's legal now. Now you can go to those type of programs and go pro. So there's no need for the college rule if that's already happening. So they kind of gearing it up to take that away again.
Okay.
So that's going to be more players for even the Knicks to look at, if you ask me. We got to be patient.
Yeah, man. My only thing with being patient is I don't think I don't think the Knicks can be patient on some stuff and rush the process on other stuff.
Facts.
That's my only. I get hit with the Uncle Freezy, you got to be patient argument all the time, right? And so my deal is, if I got to be patient with the draft, then I also got to be then y'all got to be patient with our development of Obi Toppin. Because if we not in a rush, if you telling me don't be in a rush, then y'all got to let us develop Emmanuel quickly at point guard.
Mm-hmm.
If we not in a rush, you got to let RJ Barrett develop, right? You got to give Obi more minutes, get Obi on the floor, and let Obi play, right? You got to get Cam Reddish minutes at the small forward. Don't try to make him into a stretch four and make him rebound and protect the rim, weak side, and all that stupid stuff that get small guys like Cam Reddish hurt. You see, he hurt. You saw how he got hurt, right? Trying to be a stretch, weak side, all this stuff. Man, let that man get an open floor and play the small forward, play the three. Right? Trying to expand his role so that other people can get on the floor, and then you don't even see what he got because you playing him out of position. Nah, man. Let that man cook in his natural position. Stop playing Grimes at the three, playing up defensively against bigger, stronger defenders, getting them hurt, right? Let that man play against ones and twos, right? If we not in a rush, right? Like Knicks fans say, man, Uncle Freezy, you got to calm down, slow down off this double park thing. No, I'm not, because you can't have it both ways. And what I always get hit with is, Uncle Freezy, you got to be patient on one thing and impatient on another. You know what I'm saying? No, I don't want to do that. Right? If it's going to be a long-term rebuild, if this is a long-term rebuild, like what a lot of Knicks fans want, then you got to be all in. Right? It can't be you halfway in and halfway out.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We not wearing mink coats in the summertime. We're not doing that. Just because you got a mink coat don't mean you got to wear it all the time. Right? Either you develop and it's long-term, 3-5 years, or you all in for the playoffs right now. But don't tell me, no, don't trade up for Jaden Ivey. You got to be patient. And then when the season start, Obi Toppin ain't getting no minutes.
I believe everybody that's, you know what I'm saying, that's representing this New York Knicks thing is cool with being patient. And you know what I'm saying, it's cool with, letting the young develop, you know what I'm saying, in that manner. But the thing is, you gotta get rid of these veteran guys that can't lead. So until you do that, then we're gonna always wonder which direction are we going. You know what I'm saying? You can't play both sides. If you're gonna go with, you know what I'm saying, vets, get some guys that can lead, and that looks like that we're going for a chip. But we're so far away from that, being that the cap is messed up. Go ahead and develop and bring up these young guys, but you got to clear space so these guys can come in and so they can rock. But like with Cam, I'm not even looking at Cam far as being able to develop. Cam should already been developing. It's just
True.
that's within him. He got to want it. So any guys that we bringing in here, you know what I'm saying, that Cam had to look over his head, that's good for him. He need to look over his head if he's not going to do what he need to do for that spot. But me personally, I'm cool with just watching a young develop and become, more part of the future. You know what I'm saying? That's why I say before the Phoenix Suns was the Phoenix Suns, you know what I'm saying? They were the Cleveland Cavaliers, but once the young got there, got ready to take off, they added that one element piece and then brought in one other piece that was a bruiser. You know what I'm saying? And they took off, you know what I'm saying, last year and this year. That's the format where we need to go. But we can't reach that format or do it unless we get these so-called leaders out of our way and stop giving these guys so much money that they don't deserve, whereas we're stuck and it's so hard for us to get rid of them so we can clear space and get people out of the way so the young can come through, like Hardware's nephew and all that. Make way.
Well,
Yeah, I
that's why
agree.
we have to stay financially flexible. I agree with you, Boogie. Look at the two teams in the finals. Golden State. That core is Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green. And look at the pieces that came and went. And in the end, they're bidding for another chip. Look at the Boston Celtics. That's where they're at. Jason Tatum, Marcus Smart, and Jaylen Brown. Same way. Build from within. Let them boys play. We know at one point, even with the Celtics, say last, coming into this season, it's like, well, maybe we should break this up. Remember, there was even the time we was even looking at Marcus Smart, like maybe we could snatch them away. But yet they kept it together and look where they're at. So I totally agree with you. Just we in the right place. We at the right setting on the chessboard. All we need to do is just continue. And I know that's hard for some people. But again, I have to agree, like with Freezy too, in the sense that, if we're gonna ride this out, this is the direction we need to do. And we need to multitask. Let them young boys cook, and at the same time, find and see, what other pieces fit, and then also be flexible. So when guys like you were saying, like Hardwell, like your kid and some of his friends, when they become available, bring them into the fold and keep this thing rolling. We are in the thing that I think that we need to keep in mind, Knicks Nation. We are in a good place right now. We are really in a good place. I know we want to put our foot on the gas pedal and like say, let's go. But no, just continue at the rate that we're going. And we gonna get there. We already on the right path. We are already on the right path. We just have to continue and put pieces together, keep the money flexible. Somebody needed to talk to Tom Thibodeau and say, let them young boys cook this year. Now, if not, but we'll see how that plays out. And,
that's
what I was gonna say.
That's the thing to me is like everybody in the fan base and in the media and everybody knows the Knicks aren't close yet, that they're a team that needs to go into a rebuild. But does the organization believe that? Or do they believe that they're closer to that fourth seed? And will they try and panic now, make a win now move to give Julius help to make another push for that fourth seed? Or are they going to just stay the pact and just keep building this thing the right way? See, that's the thing is we don't know what they're doing. Nobody has said anything. Nobody has let know where the direction's going.
Yeah, that's part of the problem. See, I think when you mentioned the Boston situation and you mentioned certain things just now, Boston, you know who Tatum and Brown is. And I think in reference to what we did last season, this season that just passed, with acting like we were going to be better than we were and not really be able to see what we have, or not playing Obi or the younger guys, more to show that, it's like facing reality. Even Brooklyn got swept and they got two of the best players in the league on their team. You know what I mean? So when you see stuff like that going on, you got to look at your team and know, okay, we can't compete in this East, then we need to be rebuilding, playing the young more. So in a few years, that's when they'll be better or on the level to compete with this NBA. You know what I mean? Because
and that's what they need to look at is be like the East is getting stronger and it's going to get stronger. Like Miami and some of these teams are going to be making moves. Where's the move for the Knicks that's going to get them closer to that play-in? Because when you look at the East right now and where the team's constructed, and even if you play the young guys, we're going to be at the bottom like 12, 13, 14, 15, like where we are now, maybe even worse next year. So I hope that they don't try and force a move and trade away in assets, young assets or picks to get a little bit better and just make the play-in.
Exactly.
And that's what my fear is that they're going to want to make a little, they're just going to try and trade too much away to get mediocre instead of just standing the pact and just taking the development and taking the lottery pick next year. That's where my fear is. Instead, they're going to try and rush this.
Like Jay Boogie said, you can't have veterans in there that's not getting you to the playoffs so the young guys could get a playoff experience. So if they don't even make the play-in, you should be playing those guys to prepare whoever you're going to keep on this team for the future. So they could be prepared for this Eastern Conference that's starting to be, like you guys said, the toughest conference, you know. And I do see RJ, Cam, it's some talent here. But the way they handling the players, it's hard for us to even see what we have, if you ask me.
Yeah, I would say, in conjunction with you, Jay Boogie, I would say any veteran that we bring in needs to move the needle. Now, hear me out on this. Now, when I mean move the needle, sometimes moving the needle isn't always necessarily show talent-wise on the court. Sometimes moving the needle means mentorship, because not only these young guys need to develop their on-court talent, they also need to develop mentally. And that's what the veterans are supposed to be doing, mentoring these young boys, so that like your son Hardwell, and like you know, other guys' sons that's coming into the league, so that they can develop the right mentality. And then they can when they develop the right mentality, they can also, you know, persevere and develop their on-court skills, making them the best player they could be. I saw this little piece with Kobe Bryant, and he knew coming in, you know, because of the way he came in, he wasn't as athletic and as talented as some others, but he continued to work at it, you know, and develop his game in other areas. And well, we know what the Mamba, you know, we know what he became. But it's a good piece, man. I was on Facebook. If I find that, man, I'm gonna try and repost that. But it was a good piece, because, you know, he was just saying that, you know, in his growing up, you know, he wasn't the most athletic or the biggest or whatever. And we know when he got to the league, we know how he came in. He wasn't the number one pick or whatever, but we know what he became through his work ethic and perseverance. And so, you know, any that's why I was saying, like, any veteran that we may bring in going forward. I mean, we do have a couple on the team already. You know, that's how they can add to the young core and how they could fit. I mean, it may not always translate on the court, but that's how we can, you know, can help this team and help them young boys continue to, you know, put their game together.
Yeah, I agree.
You gotta also make sure you separate the two. Those are two different players that's in the league. A veteran and a leader. See, a veteran is somebody that's been in the league, you know, a certain amount of time. No matter what, or how good or how bad he is, you got to give him a certain amount of money. That's a veteran. You know what I'm saying? But leaders, see, you don't call Steph Curry a veteran. He's a leader. You don't call CP3 a veteran. Those are leaders.
Yeah,
you don't call LeBron a veteran. Those are leaders. So that's why I always try to, you know, separate those two. If you're not getting me leaders in here, please continue on building with the young, whether they make the play-in or they don't. See, if the young are trying to make the plan, and even if they still fail, see, next year the following year they'll still know how to fight to get in there. So that's still experience that they're gaining. But they can't receive that experience and those learning points on what it is to fight, you know what I'm saying, for something with these other guys are being in the way for no reason at all. We don't need some of these. I don't need Julius to sell tickets. You know what I'm saying? The Garden is going to be a attended sellout. Attended sellout is when I buy that ticket and they take it. That's the ticker. You know, they get that number. But being just sell out because I brought a ticket and I stay at home, that doesn't give me the attended sellout. I don't need Julius for the Garden to get packed. I don't need Evan Fournier for the Garden to get packed. You know what I'm saying? We're going to go to those games anyway because we love and appreciate the Knicks and we love and appreciate the atmosphere of all of our people being the same. You know what I'm saying? But you got to have the right leadership in there so they can teach and learn these guys on what it is, on how to become better. Like you speaking of Kobe, not athletic, but he does the things, you know what I'm saying, that gets his game and his mind right. You know what I'm saying? To be able to tell somebody something differently on what they need to do or how they need to approach, you know what I'm saying, instead of playing. Guys got to know how to approach the game. Guys got to know how to leave the game and wonder and know what it is I need to go work on to come back so I don't do that same thing in that last game in my next game. Those are what leaders do, man. They give the guys a different type of approach.
Yeah, and I agree with you. And to piggyback off you, Jay Boogie, Kobe had players that was in front of him that knew how to play. You know what I mean? So when you look at the Knicks and you got older guys that you look at Fournier, like you just mentioned, Randle, like you just mentioned, you got young guys feel like, you know, they better than them or the way they lead in our young guys. It just don't look good. And then you need to surround these young kids with, like you said, good players that know how to play so they can mirror their games or see how this player could get in the lane, how this player could break his play down, like how CJ McCullough went to the Pelicans and changed the whole team around, you know, because they see somebody that knows how to play, that can break his man down and do things. This the type of player you need around young talent so they can see. Not players like Fournier should be on the team who's trying to win now, where they got so many good players that he could just hit an open three. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you can hide him on defense. You don't need him on a team that's not even making a play-in. Even Randle, I totally agree with some of the takes I just heard.
Now,
so I just wanted to say that.
Hey, real quick, real quick. What you got, Mr. Vince?
Well, I'll tell you what, I've been thinking a lot about what Uncle Freezy said a number of weeks ago about pick a direction and go. And until they turn around and unload all these vets, Fournier, Noel, Burks, and, you know, I'm at the crossroads with Julius. Julius has value, but I'm not sure if we can turn Julius around to play team ball. You know, he seems to be the guy who loves the isolation game way too much, and the ball movement stops, and that frustrates the hell out of me. So, unfortunately, Julius is going to be needed to be moved. I'm with you, Jay Boogie. I'm saying let's give these kids the season, see what happens with them. At the work, listen, if we miss the playoffs next year, this coming year, we're in a better spot for the best draft supposedly in a decade or more than a decade. So that puts us in a position. Plus, we finally figure out how good Obi is and how good these other people are, and to know whether we have value to trade or people to build around. That's the only way we can do it. But we got to move Kimba. All these guys have to go. Basically, have to just. And it's a form. I wouldn't call it a soft tank, but I would say you're finally figuring out what the hell you have on the shelf. You up the value of guys like Obi and IQ, because down the road, if you need to move them, they have value because people have seen, is IQ capable of being a point guard? You know, the guy likes to shoot the ball a lot. To me, he's a Lou Williams. He's a sixth man, but let's see if he can play the point. Give him a chance. Let's see what McBride is. Let's finally see these kids rock, and then we can make a determination what we need to replace, where we need to go. Because the last thing we want to do is put it all on it. Let's say we mortgage the farm, including RJ, to go get Ivy. We don't know if Ivy's the next coming up of a superstar. We really don't. That could blow up in our face. So I'm of the mindset, get rid of the vets, rock with the kids, and then we can step back and see what we're going to do next year.
Who's the other guy over there? Up under Chuck. Who's that? Who's the
You talking about Vince? You talking about Vince?
No. Mr. Vince is just who's the other guy?
No, not Vince. Not Mr. Vince. You talking about this guy?
Yeah.
This is Vids.
Oh, Vids. Is he there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, what you got going on? What you got going on, my guy?
Nothing. I've just basically been listening. I haven't really, you guys have been talking a lot of old school ball. I've only been watching since like 2010, somewhere around there, maybe 2008, 2011, somewhere around there, a little before the Jeremy Lin era.
Okay.
So I don't really want to go in there and speak on that kind of stuff because I don't really know about that kind of stuff. I'm not going to lie.
Right.
But what I do know is this from what you guys were saying. I'm with you guys. If we want to do a full-on rebuild, just trade everybody, that's cool. But here's the problem, I think. A lot of these guys, Leon, Brock Aller, a lot of these guys, they come from, how do I put this? They come from companies that are in the highest of echelons, and they see these guys how they see, for example, stocks. Let's say, for example, you look at Randle. A lot of them, they're going to see Randle and say, oh, his stock, it's pretty much at its lowest point. It's not going to get much lower from here.
Right.
So maybe if we keep him for another half a year, we raise his stock. He's probably going to be motivated off the fans booing him or chanting RJ Barrett when he's at the free throw line, things like that. He looks like apparently he was out of shape coming in last year. This year, he looks like he's in better shape. Maybe next year he comes back, shoots like 38% from three, 46% from the field, mid-season. Now, instead of, having to trade 11 and Randle to get 7, you can trade Randle straight up for the 5th pick in a much more stacked draft. Or someone who's going to be, has a really bad record next year. And they're like, all right, let's just trade our pick. We need to win now or not. For example, let's say the Pacers. Let's say they're like, all right, nobody's coming to our games. We need another player. Let's just trade this draft pick for Randle. Hopefully, it'll raise its value and it'll go up, kill its value once we get Randle. It'll drop to like 8 or 9, but I think we all know Randle going to a new situation. It's going to take some time. He's probably not going to help their team from day one. So I think that's what the front office is thinking. And I think that they're not going to make any trades when it comes to these vets unless they see their value being at what their value is or above what their value is. I don't see them. This is a very conservative front office. They're not going to trade anybody unless they think their value is at what it's worth or their value is above what it's worth. So I think a lot of these vets are going to end up saying.
The thing is, the risk for me with that is because the original plan was to trade when they first got here was to trade Julius, and then he got hot for 6 months. They said, instead of trading him, we're going to pay him. So to me, the problem they have is now him going into next season, right? First 10 games, and he's shooting up bricks. And they're chanting, the crowd is booing him and chanting for Obi Toppin. It's going to end up bad when he storms out or puts in a trade request. Then his value's in the toilet where you're going to have to give up a first to get rid of him because every team's going to know, he's put in the trade request. We're not giving him anything for him.
I agree with that. I'm just saying what I think the front office thinks. Yeah. A lot of these guys look at these guys as stocks. And so the front office is going to say his value is low. Let's hope next year. Because here's the thing. At the moment, I think you probably could trade Randle for let's say the 7th overall pick if you trade the 11th too. If you want to move up, gets like a Mathurin. I think that can happen. I disagree. I don't think at the moment he's probably worth the 7th pick straight up.
No.
I would say he's probably worth the 11th pick. Maybe they'll give us the 7th pick and then a future first of whatever pick from way in the future or a pick from a team that's not going to be in the lottery.
Right.
Maybe a couple seconds, something like that. But I think that's the most you're going to get out of Randle right now. So I don't think he's ever – Randle is always going to be close to a 20, 10, and 5 guy. I don't think he's ever going to – as long as you're in a playing time, he's always going to be around there. And if he's putting up those numbers, there's going to be a team that says, all right, if we can get him here, make him a 3rd option where he's not getting triple and double teams, where he's not having to deal with drop coverages, things of that nature. We can get him over here. We can up his efficiency. There's less fans. Fans aren't going to be on his butt. We can move that efficiency up. And now we got a 20, 10, and 5 guy on good efficiency. That's a very valuable piece.
See how much knowledge you know.
I don't
See
think
how
you're
much,
ever going to have to give up a first for him. I think the front office thinks that as well.
see how much knowledge you know, my brother. I just wanted to get you to come in and and participate with. That's why I went knocking on your window, man. Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah,
No doubt. And I'm sorry. Let me just say this just real quick, just to support what Vidge is saying. What Vidge is saying, that the possibilities are not the possibility of trading Randle is not the important thing when it comes to the front office. It's the front office's approach and their mindset. Like the front office is thinking about each player as an asset, right? And so each player, everybody, like they offered RJ Barrett to Toronto for the opportunity to get Scotty Barnes because they knew that RJ Barrett's ultimate ceiling would never be as high as Scotty Barnes's. So they offered it while Scotty Barnes didn't play a minute in the NBA, and RJ Barrett was coming off making the playoffs, shooting 40% from three, shooting a career high from the free throw line, and looking good on defense. RJ Barrett's value was, is high, was at that time was as high as it would ever get. Now, when you look at RJ Barrett's stock right now, RJ Barrett's stock is low and probably back to the median, to the mean, like somewhere in between his best season and his worst season. RJ Barrett is somewhere in the middle. So I understand what Vidge is saying about how the front office approaches things. Now, with that said, that approach is dangerous when you deal in commodities when it comes to players, because for one, you discount simple things like team chemistry, right? Team chemistry means a lot. And you saw this season that team chemistry was off from the beginning of the season. Little stuff like bringing in Kemba, right? And thinking and making Kemba, part of the foundation when the guys previous to Kemba made the playoffs without Kemba Walker. The front office didn't take that into consideration. Instead of bringing back a guy like maybe somebody who was already on the roster or getting a guy that could fit in, they brought in a guy that could take us to the promised land, so to speak. Hey, Kemba, get in there and take this playoff team that already made the playoffs, man, to the next level. And that destroyed the team chemistry from day one, and we all saw it. Everybody had attitudes. Tibbs, Randle, Kemba, all of, and I heard a story behind the scenes that our darling baby, Kemba Walker, was not the darling baby that people project him to be. Right? I heard it in an article. I can't find it when I go back to it. If it wasn't for Johnny Bryant, this thing would have been an utmost volcano exploding because of Kemba Walker coming in and not being the guy that he was projected to be, all smiles and stuff, anything for the team. The dude was legit divisive in the locker room, right? And all the fingers are pointed at Randle. It's one of these. The things we got to take into account is that was the front office's mistake by looking at Kemba as a commodity because he was a former. Hey, Joe, I'm gonna put you on.
Yeah, I'm feeling some feedback. I'm hearing feedback.
Yeah. So
I'll check it out.
Okay. So the thing is I can't remember for certain, but I'll find it. Right. I'll see if I can find it. Kemba was not who we thought he was gonna be on the court and off the court, right? And if it wasn't for Johnny Bryant going to Kemba, standing in the way, standing in the gap between Kemba and the roster and Thibodeau, then this thing could have got out of hand, right? So let me first start by saying, I used to always say, I don't know what Johnny Bryant is here for. I didn't never see him do nothing. But if this story is true, let me be the first to say thank you to Johnny Bryant for holding this thing together. right? This little bit of season that we did have, the little moments that we did have to enjoy. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate Johnny Bryant for holding it in the road for us. 2, the front office has, if they want to stay, they can't make rash decisions like bringing in a personality that doesn't fit. Right? You just can't bring in a veteran guy just because he did something, just because 10 years ago he did something somewhere, and you want to bring him in here now to a locker room that's different and think he could do the same thing. And it just don't work.
You see, I agree with that, but here's the thing, though. What the front office is thinking is they're seeing the kids and they're thinking, if we did, for example, trade all of these vets that we have, do we have a guy that can turn into a Stephen Curry one day? If we get all the vets out of here and we let these guys develop straight up, is that enough to get us to a contending team? And I don't think they think that. I don't think that they think this team can turn into a contending team. I think that there are a lot of moves away. So that's why I think the team is very conservative and why they have kept the vets and why it seems like they're not making many moves, because they don't see this team as the final product or anywhere close. And that even if they did move the vets, that this team wouldn't be much better, even if all our players, stayed here and developed together.
Okay.
Yeah, Freezy, Freezy, you were in the military, right?
Yes. I am a veteran.
You are a veteran. Congratulations on that, and thank you for your service, my brother.
Appreciate
you also know that I don't know if anyone else on the panel was in the military, and I know you from previous broadcasts you made reference to it. You in the military, you have individuals with different personalities. Everybody brings something to the table to enhance the whole dinner table, so to speak.
All of it's not good all the time either. Sometimes some of that stuff is bad.
Yes, some of it is bad. So
right.
In this process that we're going through as the Knicks, as everyone alluded to, you gotta shift that out. Whether he's a good player or not, you may have to send him elsewhere. I think, okay, I'm gonna change the sport, but I'm gonna make a point for a minute. Now the Giants tried that the year before last. I think it was the year before last. Gettleman talking about, we need players that are, high, quality, caliber, or so on and so forth, players intellectually, and so they got rid of those. So they let some players go that had talent for basically nothing. But then I think back to the Super Bowl years of the Giants, and it's like, well, Lawrence Taylor wasn't, he was out there. I mean, we don't have to go into details as regards to his story, but I'm sure the Giants wasn't thinking about getting rid of him because they know what he brought to the table. Now, my point in saying all this is that there's some guys, as like you said, from the standpoint for the military, that they are divisive and cause division. They got to go. But then there's other guys that sometimes, they're dogs, and they mean well. They may not know how to, they may not be the best communicators or whatever. But my point is that you got to have, as I alluded to before, the mental fortitude, or having the right mental approach to the game. I even look at Jordan. We know Jordan's story. He, not everybody liked him, but we know what he accomplished. So sometimes, some people may get rubbed the wrong way, or may not quite understand, who this person is and how they come across. But, Jordan went on to become the GOAT. I'm gonna just throw another player, Dennis Rodman. He is who he is, but when we go to the foxhole, I want him down there with me because I know what he's capable of doing. You just hope he don't get out. He don't go crazy on you while you down
Right.
there.
Well,
So it's certain players that definitely got to go. That are definitely toxic. Let's just say
I don't
that.
think it's Randle. I don't think it's Randle though.
I
But it
think
may not be, and you're right. It may not be. But then there's certain players that you have to, take that and feed off of that. I mean, I played football, so I understand. I had a we had a couple. I was a captain in my football team my senior year, so I understand that. But you have to take, that type of person if he isn't toxic or divisive, and harness that and feed off of that and make that work for the team. So it all depends, on the person or the player in this case.
I wanted to say something about that. I feel like 20-10 ain't good if you can't even get us in a play-in, and you've been in the league as long as you've been in the league, and you're not leading the guys. You got to look at what happened last season. We can't act like we forgot what happened.
Yeah, you're
So
right. And
the
based
main
on that,
part of why we don't know the main reason why we don't know what we have, and a lot of people even talk down on some of the players we have because of the Randle situation. A coach would have just had to, you got to teach, especially if you're not going to win at that stage. You know what I mean? You got to know when, to take them out, to put somebody else in. And it's stats that show that didn't happen. It was no adjustments made. It was no leadership. And these are the things that if you have a player like that, he has to bring to the team. You can't just be the best player on the team and then you do all of the negative stuff. We don't really need that. And as far as the value, I think a lot of teams is going to still value Randle the same because they're going to look at it like it was the Garden, and how our media is. They always try to talk bad about how the New York fans are and all that stuff. So I don't think his value is going to go down. They know he's going to get 20-10, and they know that he's a third option. We act like we don't. So that's a big problem if you want to contend in the Eastern Conference, where everybody in the world know this man is a third option. So if you're not bringing in players better than him, then you have to, build up your young pieces and see what pieces you have, so what you could keep and what you could get rid of. The main reason why we don't know what we have because we was acting like we was gonna win, and we not in the win now time. It's not our time. Just because of that fourth seed with no fans in the stands, you have to look at what we did the next season. We didn't make the play-in. And the way we lost in the playoffs, when we made the playoffs, they knew exactly how to stop Randle. And for Tibbs not to come back with some backup plans and some other things, to go on. Look at how many ISOs Randle had. Look at all of these things. The way it was handled, to me, it was bad. So if we keep the same players, it's gonna be a similar situation if we don't get rid of, the toxic issues.
I want to point
and
out
face reality. We not a winning. We don't have a
want,
winning team.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry, that bro. I just wanted to point out a situation going back to Game 4 of the NBA Finals. Draymond Green sat out vital minutes of the fourth quarter. We all know Draymond Green. We know his history. We know his connection to everything. Coach said, "Come in, man. Have a seat.
Yep.
We got this." How do you
Paris
think
Doug, I agree with you.
How do you think Randle would have? Now we know how critical a point during the game was, and we know we all know the outcome of it at this point. But let's go back in that moment. How would you think Randle would have reacted to that and say, "Hey, come here, have a seat," and the game's going on? I'm just throwing that out to everybody on the panel, and also
I was going to say the same thing.
It depends. It depends.
Yeah, but that's
on
a
your
learning lesson, though. That's what a coach is there for.
Yeah, it depends on your coaching situation. If your
Yeah.
if your coach is, you know what I'm saying, if your coach is the leader of that floor and you're following the suit, when your coach tells you something going on the floor that you do not see and recognize, you're supposed to take heed to that. So when I make the sub and I'm bringing I'm bringing Draymond out. Look, Dre, you don't turn down 4-5 shots. I don't know. It was wide open layups. You're not in the mind frame. So I'm going to try to do this because right now I need to do something different. Draymond showed you what type of basketball player he is when he accepted that. But a real ball player will accept you telling him what he ain't doing when you break it down to him and tell him, and he knows he's not doing that. You know what I'm saying? If you know you're playing like trash and the coach tell you, you know what I'm saying, in a respectful way, not trying to clobber you, not just taking you out and not telling you why you're not out and all that there. See, that's what Tom would have did. That's why Julius would have blew up. He took him out and put him down there, and Julius, and without knowing nothing, and Julius would have, you know, slapped another laptop or something. You know what I'm saying? That's the relationship that your coach has with each and every player on the team. And all the relationships that he has with the players are totally different from everybody else. So that's how you get a different understanding.
I understand what y'all mean, where y'all coming from. I do think the question is unfair though. Right. And here's why I think it's unfair. Julius Randle is the best player that we have. Right? Draymond Green is not the best player that the Warriors have. Right? If it comes to that situation and Tom Thibodeau has to sit the fourth best player on his team, I don't think Randle is the fourth best player. Right? But if that situation had happened with Steph Curry, remember earlier in the playoffs when Steph had came back, but Jordan Poole was red hot? Remember that? You remember early in Memphis and all of that?
Yeah, Utah.
When
I mean, not Utah, but yeah.
See, and the reason why I think that the question is unfair is because I think it's just a power forward to power forward equivalent, and I don't think it's fair. But Steph Curry was coming back off injury, and Steph Curry is going to moonwalk into the Hall of Fame. When Steph Curry is, when it's all said and done, Steph Curry might be a top 5 player of all time when he retired, right? Steph Curry took a demotion. He went to the coach, but he didn't let the coach make the decision. He's like, Coach, I'm coming back off an injury. I'll come off the bench. Because Jordan Poole is red hot and he carrying the franchise. This is a top 5 player of all time, potentially, saying, hey, Coach, this kid right here is red hot. I'll come off the bench until he either cool down or I'm playing better than him.
I remember that scenario, but they did have him in that starting lineup. Steve Kerr had already don't put that starting 5 out there, and when they was in the locker room, and that's when Steph changed it. I remember that situation.
Right. That's what, now the question to this though, Jay Boogie, is would Julius Randle have done that?
No.
If Obi Toppin was in the starting lineup and Julius Randle was coming back off an injury.
Can I say why? Freezy, can I tell you why?
No. I understand. Because all of us have the same answer. I already know why. Right. But what I want to say though is just for the sake of the conversation, and I promise I'll move out of the way right after this. Right. For the sake of the conversation, I don't think the equivalent Draymond Green to Julius Randle is the same.
No.
But that scenario with Julius Randle has gone to Tom Thibodeau and said, hey man, Obi is red hot and I'm coming off an injury. I'll come off the bench until Obi either cool down or I'm playing better than him. And I think all 6 of us and 112 people in the chat will say, hell no, Randall wouldn't have done that.
No.
My bad, how well?
No, you're fine. We don't even want you to move out the way. I mean, you keep the conversation dope. But what I was going to say is the problem is he's still trying to prove who he is. That's the difference in the Curry situation and the Randle situation. You know, Randle is still trying to prove he could be an all-star again. That's a lot of pressure. You know what I mean? He ain't figuring out that he just got to make the play that's in front of him. You know, the double team was coming at him at the beginning of the game. dead center. You know, all he had to do was make a simple pass. It was going to third row. All the stuff we say, we're not making anything up, you know, and then it just didn't happen sometime. If it did, then we can overlook it. You know what I'm saying? Because we know he's 20 and 10. But when you put that on one side of the scale, then you put all the other stuff that came along with last season on the other side. You know, the problems outweigh the 20 and 10 because he's not getting us even to a playing game, right? And like Jay Boogie mentioned earlier, we need veterans or at least players who've been in the league 8, 9 seasons. This be his 9th season. That's gonna lead us and show, like I mentioned, CJ McCullough, players who already confident in their game. You know, they've been to the All-Star, you know, different things. Like even when Cash mentioned earlier about Jason and Tatum and Brown, right? We know who these guys are. So when Freezy say we don't have this and we don't have that, we don't. We know that. And it's maybe because we didn't get a chance to see these kids play enough. Tatum came right in and started and played throughout his run. But another good point could be we just need to see how long it takes other players to you know take their team this far and have enough faith in certain players that we see. Like RJ is the first player we had in a long time that's doing as well as he did in the 3-year span, right? Everybody can agree to that. So that's something that we can build on. Do we need to only build on him? No, because we see the NBA is way more competitive. So we need to either find somebody better or somebody that's showing the same potential as him. You know what I mean? And that's a way we could start to change, because if the veterans like Julius Randle ain't going to get these guys to a play-in to give them some more experience and a higher level of competition, because we all know the playoff intensifies it in basketball, right? The competition is stronger. Guys change their whole game around, right? If we're not making it there, why are these guys on our team? We need to have young guys playing against this competition. So when guys start to leave the league, like Durant, like you see it already happening now. Brown and Tatum and new guys are starting to come up. Even guys who didn't make the finals, you see guys starting to come up. So we have to make the sacrifice for you. We've been said this. Choose a direction, and we already see what direction, because we can't win now. You know what I'm saying? They need to just let the guys play to see who they want to get rid of and build around those guys. And like you said, for the next draft, we probably could do way better than what we can in this draft.
That's right.
You know, a lot of people don't even
You know
give
what?
that
I'll use another illustration to.
Hey, Cash, let me do this real quick. So let me read these super chats real quick. So Paris Duggar, thank you for the generous contribution as usual. Paris Duggar is an integral part of the show. We appreciate you, bro. Paris Duggar says, look, this front office made a rookie mistake. They veered off the rebuild plan because of the 4th seed and built the team around Tibbs' designs of vets, Randle, and both failed us mentally. We're focused now. I understand what you're saying right there, and we may have to come back to that. And Paris Duggar also says, we need to get rid of dead weight Tibbs favorites, but not Randle, not yet. I gotta see him and this OB play 20 minutes together with RJ, Cam, and Quickly. Thank you for that, bro. Appreciate you. Go ahead, man.
No, I was going to say, I don't know how many of us are in management or supervision on their jobs. When we have people and we bring them in and, you know, we train them, we want to see people do well. I mean, yeah, we want them to not only do well, we want them to be efficient, you know. We want to see them succeed, in other words. You know, it ain't about us. It ain't like, you know, okay, you know, this is about me. You know, you work for me. You got to do whatever. No, when you have people and you train them correctly and you provide the proper leadership and mentoring to them, and they do well, it makes the whole team do well. Yeah, it makes you look well too, because of the fact that you're out in front. You're that team lead or supervisor or manager or whatever. But it makes the whole team do well. So if you as a leader or as a veteran, you know, provide the right mentoringship, provide the right leadership, to provide the right instruction to lead that person so that they can do their job well in the capacity that they're in, all benefits. So I take that application to say that, in the case of, Julius, if he really wants to be a leader on this team, these are the things that he need to do. That it ain't about you, it's about the team.
Hey,
Now,
Cash,
if you get,
Cash, let me
you
say,
get to,
Cash, let me say this.
go
Let me
ahead.
say this to you real quick because I have this feeling, I have this personal feeling that differs from a lot of people in Knicks Nation, right? So a lot of people in Knicks Nation feel like the almighty fourth seed, like state of the New York Knicks like to say, the mighty almighty fourth seed ruined the rebuild, right? What I'd like to express to everybody listening is this season that just passed is the season that a playoff team got injured and missed the playoffs. I don't think we're a lottery team. I think this team with RJ, Randle, Mitch, IQ, Obi is a playoff team. Rose and Noel too, Taj. I think this team is a playoff team that had a bunch of unfortunate events happen to it, like the perfect storm, and it knocked them out of playoff contention because we just couldn't get right. Right? I think going forward, minus Kemba, I think you'll see this team get back to what we did 2 seasons ago and make a serious run at the playoffs. Now, will we be a 4th seed? I don't think so. But can we be a 6th seed? Can we be a 6th seed with the addition of the draft pick, a veteran point guard that can stay healthy? Because remember, none of our veteran point guards stayed healthy. None. Right? And with the addition of a draft pick and a veteran point guard that can come off the bench behind quickly, like maybe a DJ Augustine, a steady veteran. I think this team is a 6th seed with the arrow pointing up. Now, with the arrow pointing up, all that depends on not Tibbs coaching, because you know what Tibbs coaching is going to be. Yeah, everybody here already know how Tibbs coaches, right? So I'm not depending on him getting better. But who I think can get better is the young core. I think you can get more of a contribution from Obi, more of a contribution from Quickly, more of a contribution from Miles McBride, more of a contribution from Quentin Grimes, more of a contribution from RJ, more of a contribution from Jericho Sims, more of a contribution from Cam Reddish. These guys, aside from the second-year players, these guys are not rookies no more, right? They're not rookies no more. These dudes are young veterans now, right? You remember how you asked me if I was in the military? And I was like, yeah, I'm a veteran. And I say that proudly because I've been through some stuff that none of you, if you ain't been in the military and been through stuff, you can't imagine some of the stuff that me and Ron Cleveland and Soul Finger and G-Man for Life have been through in our lives when we was 19, 20 years old. And I ain't going to talk about it here. But when you 18, you 17, 18, 19, 20, you get turned into something that you can never revert from. You just live with it. You just cope with it, right? And that's why when you ask me if I was a veteran, Bodega Wi-Fi, you 17, 18, 19 years old, you get turned into something that you can never turn off. You flip a switch that stays on for the rest of your life, right? But here's the thing. When you ask me that, I understood that in soldiering, being a veteran, soldiers, you have different soldiers for different situations. Like there are certain soldiers that when you out on the parade field, their uniform is super crispy and they boots is spit shined where you can comb your hair in a boot reflection, right? But then there's also that same soldier as the 38th day of being in the mud, he out there crying because he just want to go home, right? Them soldiers, they crying just because they want to go home, right? They miss their wife. They miss watching Family Feud at 7 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? They miss their meals being on schedule. breakfast at 7:30, lunch at 12, dinner at 5:30. They missed that, right? And then you have the soldiers, other soldiers who, in that same parade, we put them in the middle of the formation because their uniforms is all crumply, and their boots is clean, but they ain't shining, right? You put them in the middle, you hide them soldiers, right, in the middle of the formation, because you don't want nobody to see them, because they don't look immaculate on a parade field. But on that 43rd day out there in the mud, they the perfect person for you. They're like, Cash, man, you need some sleep, man. Going back to your vehicle, man. I got your guard duty shift this time. And you be like, man, you got me? Yeah, I got you for this hour. And that 1 hour sleep is just enough sleep to recharge your batteries so you can keep persevering through, right? And so while you say that, the reason why you ask me, and the reason why I bring this up is because the Knicks have guys like that on our team. We have people like that on our team. RJ Barrett is the one in the parade. He ain't gonna look like nothing. He ain't doing 360 dunks like Zach LaVine. He ain't got a 52-inch vertical. You know what I'm saying? He don't shoot the three exceptionally well. But the dude that's gonna get you through the mud on the battlefield is RJ Barrett. And we got to keep that in mind as we go forward. Right? What we don't want to do is treat RJ Barrett like we should treat Obi Toppin. Obi Toppin is the one that looked good and do all these things. Now he's still productive, just productive in a different setting is what I'm getting at. Some troops look good on the battlefield and some troops look good on the parade field. It's just like horses. Some horses thrive on the racetrack and some horses thrive in the parade, but they still horses. They still horses. And you don't take a racehorse to plow the field, right? And you don't take a field horse on the racetrack. You just don't. And the point I'm getting at is in order for you to be a successful unit, you have to have a balance of all of it. You got to have a balance of all of it.
You nailed it. You hit the nail on the head. That's exactly
let me ask you this question. Hold on for a minute. Let me ask you this question then. All right. Because I heard you say earlier that when you was doing about the mock, Orlando is putting together something over there. All right. But so I'm not going to talk about Orlando, but I'm just going to throw that up in the atmosphere because, you know what I'm saying, you said that, which I do see that Orlando's putting together something over there. By far, any injuries on our team and everybody that made the play-in last year, and we make no changes on our squad, which one of them teams do you tell me that we're taking out, knowing that it's 3 all-star point guards, one in Atlanta, one in Cleveland, and one in Charlotte.
Right.
The other team, Chicago, doesn't have a point guard, but they got 2 closers with a big that can do damage.
I count Lonzo as a point guard, though.
That's what I was going to say.
I'm just saying because he didn't play. He didn't play. He got injured. So I do know they got 2 closers and a big that can score. With our roster, we did no changes. Our roster stayed the same. Which one of them teams are we taking out? And knowing we don't have no defense.
All right. So here's the thing, J Buggy. It depends on if we stay healthy, for one.
That's why I said everybody healthy. We ain't even talking about health.
Everybody healthy. Remember,
everybody healthy. The whole East.
Remember, everybody healthy. We were better than Atlanta 2 years ago. Everybody healthy. We was better in Atlanta. Remember, Atlanta was the 5 seed. We was the 4 seed, right? And the other thing too is you can't depend on a team like Charlotte, who played 0 defense, to be able to defend or turn their defense around in one season. And they just hired a coach that is not known for defense. And Kenny Atkinson. They hired a coach that's known for developing point guards.
See, that's why I always look at players. I like to look at players in reference to and how they playing together, not the country for you. Because when you look at both teams, I don't see that. I don't see us moving them out the way unless we make, especially not off of a point guard out the draft when Tibbs didn't even play McBride. Like that ain't going to make sense to me because we got the same coach that didn't play a point that he brought in when he had ample opportunity. He put Burks there. When that's a sign that shows you he's not trying to develop. You know what I'm saying? Where you brought McBride here and we're not winning, McBride would have been better for next season and maybe replace Quickly or somebody else that may play the point. I'm hoping. But how can we say we bringing a point guard now that Tibbs is going to play? To me, and we're going to make the 6th seed off of that? Nah, I can't see that happening because he didn't show no signs of trying to do nothing like that last season. And you said that he's not going to change his coaching. That was one thing that stuck in my mind.
Right. He's not going to change. You know that.
Yeah. So it's like, how can we rely on a point guard out of this draft that has to learn the transition of the NBA, has to learn his team? It's a lot of reasons why I don't see us being better than Charlotte. And the Hawks won the Eastern Conference. They came further that the next year, I think it was, that you had mentioned after that. So it's hard to say. And like Jay Boogie's point, that's why I said I look at players because he mentioned the all-stars on these teams. When you have all-stars, that means automatically that they're going to do something every night that they're on the floor. And some of these guys are learning how to pass and how to win because you see, it's not all about just you. It's a team. Some guys got 2 all-stars, and then these good all-star players is even making it right. He's passing the ball when they get doubled, a lot of things. So it's more than just talent. You can't be talented with an ego. That's the problem. And you have to be somebody who already accomplished the accolades that you're trying to accomplish in order to be on a young team that has potential, or at least for us to see what we have. And I keep on saying that because we devalue what we have and we talk bad about what the players that we have because they didn't get the same opportunity. You know, look at the kid from Philadelphia 76ers, Maxey. You know, he looks exactly like Quickly to me, if you ask me, but he just get the opportunity. You know what I mean? Now, he's a little better than Quickly because the way he showed up in the playoffs, my opinion. But this is just a good example on when players get a chance to play and play comfortably, you know, especially if we're not even making a play-in, then they come back the next year as a better player. And you mentioned that these guys are going to come back better, and they didn't even get a chance to play last season comfortably. So I think that once they get a season to play comfortable and we get to see the full potential of our players, then the next following season, they're going to improve. Not off the type of season that we just had. Yeah, we'll see better things from Obi and different players that get more of an opportunity, right? But I don't think they're going to be, you know, all that because they're coming off of what we did last season. And it takes more chemistry and better leadership players to make that jump, like Jordan Poole or certain players. It's the people around these players that make these players elevate to the next level faster. It's not just them. You know what I mean? So that's the main point I wanted to make.
Well, I would challenge you with this. What's the difference between Emmanuel Quickly and Jordan Poole?
Jordan Poole has Curry next to him, and when you see a guy,
and Clay,
yeah,
and
when
Wiggins,
you see these guys,
and Draymond,
just even think about Curry's regimen. And Curry didn't come in the league as Curry. Curry came in, you know, he had to take time to develop, and that's why I call these new players microwave players because of Curry. And Curry didn't really have too many people to see doing that, except for like Iverson or certain players. Because remember, the game changed from give the ball down low to too much dribble. You know what I'm saying? And now it's more entertaining. So you got to look at all that in the factor. But the point is, you got to have somebody on that level to help your new players go in that direction faster. That's why I mentioned you see the McCullers or guys who go to teams with young players and they help them team quickly because these guys know how to play basketball. They're not trying to prove that they're nice still after they in this league 6-7 years like Julius. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I would say to that though.
Shout out Ron. What's good, Ron?
Hey man. What's going on?
Hey, man, salute, man. What's
good,
going on, fellas? What's going on with y'all?
Salute, Ron.
I would say to that though is I'm not as down on the roster as others. I think Julius Randle can recapture his all-star form. I think RJ Barrett can become an all-star. I think Emmanuel Quickly can become a point guard or a playmaking guard in today's NBA, depending on what type of offense you want to run. Because like what I was telling Black Andy was, depending on your point of view and your preference, you may want a team 1 through 15, everybody in a role. Or you might want the best 10 basketball players in your rotation and everybody get on the floor and develop chemistry playing with each other. Ain't no harm in either. Like with me in today's NBA, I don't think you need a point guard. I think you need playmaking guards, playmakers all over the floor, right? And you can watch that when you watch the Boston Celtics. Marcus Smart does not look like John Stockton, a traditional point guard. Steph Curry does not look like John Stockton, Steve Nash, a traditional point guard, right? Everybody on the floor has morphed into playmakers. The ball, the shot is not there, pass it to somebody else. That's what it is, in my opinion. Now, should the Knicks try to win in the 1990s style, where you have to have a center, power forward, small forward, shooting guard, point guard? If it works, if it wins a championship, I'll be happy for it. But I think in today's NBA, you don't need to have defined roles like that. Like your power forward, like an Obi Toppin, doesn't have to be a weak side rim protector, high volume rebounder, things of that sort. Your center doesn't have to be a rim protector, double digit rebounder, put back guy, call the defense and all that stuff. I think anybody can. The reason why our defense suffered from last year is not because of Kemba Walker and Evan Fournier. It's because the captain of that defense signed with Dallas. Dude was making all the defensive calls, putting people in position, doing all those things. That's why we missed Reggie Bullock. Not the fact that he couldn't shoot or that the defense suffered. As a matter of fact, our defense started. The season started in October. At the beginning of December, our defense was ranked 28th in defensive efficiency. Right? At the end of the season, with all those blown 20-point leads and all those games where, like Denver, where they just ran up the score on us for no reason, we still finished the season 11th. Right? And it wasn't because of pace of play and all that stuff that people want to put in. Though the other team shot more poorly as the season went on, the defense got better, even with all the injuries and certain guys can't play D and all that stuff. So what I'm saying is this. I think this team, with this young core and with Julius, is a playoff team. And I'm saying, and I'm calling it, I think they're top 6 in the East this year, this season coming up. With the new addition, whoever the rookie is, whatever fringe veteran we sign, I think that the Knicks have figured, the coaching staff has figured it out. Not the front office, because the front office is clueless. I don't care what y'all tell. The front office don't have a clue. Ron, I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna tell you this, Ron.
Freezy, I need some of that,
bro.
I need some of what you have, Freezy. Send me some of that.
I'm just saying, bro. That I think I legit, if the Knicks, if the front office draft Malachi Branham, I'm telling you, I think the front office just opened the Bible and just pointed to a name. Because they drafted the dude named Emmanuel and a dude named Obadiah. They drafted a dude named Jericho. You know what I'm saying? If they draft Malachi, I'm telling you, they just opened the Bible and just pointed to a name. You know what I'm saying? That's my opinion. I don't think the front office.
Freezy, I'm gonna see you at the draft party. Bring some of that to the draft party. Freezy.
Oh, I'm gonna be at the. I'm gonna be at the.
Whatever you want, Freezy, bring some of it. I want to feel like you. I want to be like you. I want to.
So Freezy, your topic for the day. Your topic for the day is sleepers.
Guys, topic is the mock draft. It went way out of here when he did it.
Okay.
The mock draft was fire, actually.
I was looking at that boy from Kentucky, that Washington kid. I like him. I hate that he's from Kentucky.
Right.
And the only reason why I say that because I'm sick of us going to Kentucky to get players, man.
Right.
There's other players in this league. Stop putting all your eggs in one basket. Looking at one team, man. There's a lot of college teams with good players. Expand your horizons, man. Get up there. Matter of fact, do the work because it's easy to go to Kentucky because you got the inside track there. You see what I'm saying? Go look elsewhere, man. They ain't the only people that's producing players. So that's my thing on that Washington kid. But he looked like he could be.
You mean it's easy for the front office to go to Kentucky, not the kids, not the players?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay.
But I'll say this, man. So far as our team, the current players, I think somebody was, we tend to say a lot of time that we overvalue our players, our young players. You know what it is? We ain't never had no young players to value. And that's why this is happening where people don't want to move off certain players because we hadn't seen this before, where we have this many young players on the roster. But I'll tell you this, looking at this team, right now there's only, with them young players, you might have 2 players that have the potential to be something very good.
Okay.
And I don't care what combination of 2 you take, but there's only 2. So you can understand a lot of these players on this team is role players. A lot of them. You know what I mean? The problem is we don't have that go-to stud, man. Julius is the closest thing that we have.
Right.
And I gotta give him his props. He's the closest thing that we got. And then you got RJ. I mean, excluding Julius, I ain't thinking of Julius as, the younger player, even though he's, technically considered young. I'm looking at them guys like RJ and all them guys, excluding Julius. You got maybe 2 players. Maybe 2 that can be a star in this league. Because I ain't 100% sold yet on RJ. He got a lot to work on for me to even open my mouth and call him a star. Do I like what I've seen this far? Yeah, I've seen improvement every year in him, but I can't call him that yet. Obi the same way. I like what I've seen during the stretch. We don't know, and it's really sad because, to Hard Will's point, we blew a golden opportunity to let them guys just rock out for the rest of the season when this season was lost.
Yeah,
and you could have been ahead of the game. Don't come crying afterwards talking about, oh, I wish I would have played the players later. There's a lot of people wishing. You know what I mean?
Tib said that too,
I wish
Ron.
I had $1 million.
That's what he
Tib
was
said
referring
that
to.
too, Ron. You heard? I didn't mean to cut you. I just want to say that. Tib said that too. He wish.
Yeah, he wished.
Yeah.
He sung
That's
R. Kelly
Tibbs.
song. You know what I mean? R. Kelly singing that song right now himself. He wished he would have done things differently. Enough of that. You know what I mean? So it is what it is with this Knicks team, man. But I'm gonna tell you right now, I know one thing, that front office, I don't think they're gonna sit on their hands. I'm telling y'all right now, get prepared. Some of these players that a lot of these people are attached to, you better get unattached to them. Because I'm telling you right now, they're gonna make a move. This roster will not look the same way. A lot of them gonna be gone. You
Right.
can't come back with this same squad next year. When you think about it, you really can't. Because the league is getting better.
Yep.
If you come back with this same roster, you ain't going no playoffs. You going right to the house or Cancun. You going somewhere. But it ain't no playoffs.
So, Ron, you think this is a lottery team then? This is a lottery team in your mind?
Yeah, man, I don't say it's so much as a lottery team. But if it is a lottery team, it ain't a high lottery team. You know what I mean? Like, we'll mess around and be middle of the road again. Like, we'll be one of them teams that's good, but not terrible and not great. We'll be a competitive team with this same roster. We won't be what we've been in the past with them Nate Robinson squad and stuff, looking like straight trash, landfill garbage. But we it's a lot of work, man, and that's why I'm gonna temper my expectations. I'm hoping we do great this year, man. I'm always optimistic. I ain't gonna bash the team, but I got to be realistic when I look at this thing too. And what you said about the coach, that's probably our main key is what he does.
Yeah, he ain't gonna change, bro. Anybody that think Tibbs is gonna change and he's 65, they mistaken. You know, and so Ron, here's the other thing. Here's the other thing too. I want to just throw in real quick. Hey, y'all, and I got to get out of here a little bit, man. My niece graduating from high school, man. I got to get ready for this graduation thing. But,
congratulations.
Yeah, it means, hey, Mr. Vince, it means I'm getting older.
Congratulations to
join the club.
Appreciate it, y'all. You know, you're getting old when you got a favorite pair of shoes and they look old like you, but you won't throw them away. You know what I'm saying? I got a favorite pair of black leather shoes. They look old just like me, but I love them. I keep cleaning them off and throwing Esquire shoe polish. Y'all don't know nothing about no Esquire shoe polish, man. Y'all might.
Of course we do.
Got some at home right now. I got some breaking news. Uncle Freeze, I got breaking news. This weekend, I heard an assistant coach of the Knicks offered Julius Randle some steroids. Can you believe that? What? The good news was Julius slapped it on his hands. He smacked it on his hands and didn't take it.
Are you joking or are you serious?
I'm joking, man.
Okay.
Oh man.
I got something else to say to y'all right quick though, man. Something I was looking at the NBA Open run. I don't know if anybody saw it. I was looking at quickly in that thing. And what I'm watching it quickly, man, I'm seeing a young man that's thinking again more of playing that point guard position. He's looking for players. Watching that open run, quickly looking like he really taking ownership of that point guard position. And I think if they don't draft a point guard, I think quickly going to take that starting job. Hands down. It ain't going to be Deuce. And I like Deuce, but it ain't going to be Deuce. It's going to be quickly, man.
Yeah.
I watched that kid. I looked at that thing like 2 or 3 times just to make sure I was seeing what I was seeing out of him. And I'm telling you, if you hadn't had a chance to check it out, go take a look at it.
I mean, he's supposed to take it. It's like 2 years ago when Alfred Payton was there. Ain't nobody there. You know what I'm saying? He's supposed to take it. He shouldn't even have to, you know what I'm saying, compete for it. He's supposed to walk straight to that practice gym and they pass him that Spalding and say, here, you the new point guard, you our leader right now. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
That's why I mentioned that Burks thing, because there's no way he wasn't supposed to play over Burks.
Right. What I asked earlier, I still didn't get the answer about, which one of those teams is going to come out there, but I'm not going to get an answer. But just to push back, just to push back. Let me let you know something. And if you looked at them, you didn't look at them good enough. But I'm gonna tell you this right now. That boy Sheldon Sharp, Griffin, Macron, Dyson, Davis. I might be missing something. Any of those 6'5", 6'6" guards that's up there in front of them, none of them can do exactly what that boy Mekhi Blackton can do. None of them. So let me just throw that out there because I know Freezy said we might make a mistake and just push the button blindly. Y'all sleep on that boy Mekhi Blackton if you want, because ain't nothing he can't do at 6'6". Go left, go right, mad handles, mid-range, long range. He's a freshman too. Y'all sleep on that dude if you want, man. Keep wanting to chase these guys with these names and gonna come in here and ain't gonna ball. And you're gonna miss somebody. Imagine that dude right there go over there like the developing guard coach over there at Charlotte. Okay. Y'all keep looking at these mock drafts and looking at what they show.
All I know is if we draft a dude named Malachi, we gotta be prepared for fishes and loaves night.
I know, you know that's the same eyes. That's the same eyes to see that boy Duke fall all the way down to the Detroit Pistons.
I'm just saying, bro.
Yo, Freezy, we used to say choose a direction. Now it's only one direction we should go. After we see how the East look, it don't make sense to even. We might as well get our team prepared so when we can compete. Let them play and deal with this, and just, like somebody said it earlier, the fans is gonna be here in the stands. We could just be honest with the fans. We got loyal fans, and we have the realest fan base. They're gonna understand that, the guys that we rebuilding with is better than the guys we was acting like we making the playoffs with. because that's the reality to what's going on right now. It's a facade. And I think that, the East is like this, and like somebody mentioned, it's really competitive. And we're not going to fit in that HC when you look at players. You know what I mean?
But Hardwell, they 25 and we 22. It's not like
That's
we
why
22 and they 35.
No, I agree. That's why I see when not Curry, I meant to say Kyrie and Durant, how they got handled different. The league is changing, right? But we have to follow the guidelines of what these players who are starting to take over and bring their teams further, how long it took them and what their teams did with them. They stuck by them. They kept them there. Even Boston, just look at it. They were saying they should break the team up, and they had the players right there all along. So they added a coach. They changed some other things. You know what I'm saying? And that's the problem with us. We got to change some things. And Tibbs is part of the problem. So he should be moving to change that because he know in his little time, he not winning a ring. So why wouldn't he be willing to develop us better as far as realizing we can't compete, just like I'm saying, and let these guys play. So even when you leave, you could say you did lay down the foundation. Not the way you laying it down, acting like we're going to be a 4th seed again or we're going to be a 6th seed like you saying. I don't see it, bro. And that's my last.
I tell you this,
bro. Shout out to Danny Ainge. Shout out to Danny Ainge.
Shout out to Danny Ainge.
Even though he had all them draft picks and could have made all the moves, he never brought nobody in there to get in the way of Jason Tatum and Jaden Brown. He never brought nobody to get in their way. He let them rock and develop, man. That's what stage we need to be on. Let these young rock and develop.
And then I'd say,
we ain't winning no championship to Hardwell Point. We ain't winning no championship no time soon. But I just got the sneaky suspicion we gonna do what we've been doing because this front office, I don't care what nobody say, they on the hot seat. Period. If you think they ain't on the hot seat, wait till you hear about it. This year 3 Lord. Of a 5-year plan, and you regress from last year.
All right, and like what Frieza said earlier, by the way. What Frieza said earlier with if RJ and Fournier say, "Yo, we come off the bench," then that will change the entire dynamic of the team. If those two say we'll come off the bench, Fournier and RJ come off the bench, let those young kids run. I think that could be a dynamic change in our squad.
I ain't putting RJ on no bench. If you do that, you may as well trade RJ. No way. No way I'm putting RJ on no bench.
God bless, man. Congratulations to your niece.
Boogie, what was that question? What was that question for you going to meet?
God bless you, man. Congratulations to
you, man. Appreciate
what was that question, Boogie, before you leave? As
a team.
Oh, what I had put out. The question, the scenario I put out, I had asked. You know what I'm saying? If everybody in the East was healthy, everybody that was in the playoffs this year, and the Knicks was healthy all this year, and we all no injuries occurred, what team would the Knicks take out that was in the playoffs last year? And they had 3 all-star point guards, one in Atlanta, one in Charlotte, and one in Cleveland, and they had 2 closers without a point guard in Chicago. What team would we take out?
All teams being healthy?
Everybody healthy.
None.
Nobody.
None. Because if you remember Charlotte,
no
I was thinking about Charlotte, but remember Charlotte was rolling before all them injuries too. Ain't no team on there I see us taking up. Because at the end of the day, this team regressed, and like Freezy brought it up, we regressed early in the season when everybody was still healthy defensively. We were healthy when we fell apart on defense.
Yep.
So I don't see where we would have jumped. We would have been in the play-in, not no playoffs. We might have made the play-in.
I would disagree with that though, bro. I'm gonna name the teams that I think we better than right now.
That's what I needed you to do 20 minutes ago. That's why I asked you.
But
he had tried to let that thing seep down, but
bring it, Freezy.
So we better than Orlando. We better than Detroit. We better than Indiana. We better than Washington. We better than Charlotte. We better than Cleveland.
What?
I think we're level with Atlanta, right? And depending on what Brooklyn does, we may be better than Brooklyn, or Brooklyn might be the number 1 seed. Who knows? Brooklyn is Jekyll and Hyde, right?
No.
But I think we're better than Toronto, right? And I think
healthy
Boston.
Toronto?
Yep, and I think Boston caught us off guard. Boston is the team that got the rocket and took off in the that took off. Remember, we were better than Boston last year, and now Boston's in the NBA Finals. That's what I'm saying. Leon Rose, put the remote down, put the pastrami and rye down. Go make a move. You got to, right?
Freeze, I'm gonna tell you why we weren't better than none of them teams. It's gonna start at the head on this team. I ain't talking about the coach because he can get some too. But even with all them guys healthy, Derrick Rose, Kimba, our point guard play was not gonna stop nobody. They were gonna kill us. They were gonna kill us. We saw that with Atlanta with Derrick Rose having to play that starting position. Our point guard position is a major deficiency. And that's why we weren't gonna top none of them teams, man. In my opinion.
Well, I think at this point, we're at a crossroads as a team where either moves are going to be made so that we get better, or we may even get worse and regress. And also, too, that front office is under deliberations. If we know anything about the justice system, their verdict is coming. This is the year, right here.
Yeah, you're right. This is it.
Jury is under deliberations, and they're going to either and from us, they're either going to come back guilty or non-guilty, and then the team is at a crossroads. So by the trade deadline, I think we all going to have our answers by the trade deadline because well, you know, some's going to go one way or the other.
Cash, let me show you something, man. Because I'm trying to get to the point I'm making is that we're gonna get better with the addition by subtraction method, right? I'm gonna show you why. Look,
I hope so.
Who you gonna subtract?
I hope so.
This is y'all starting point guard right here, right? This is this is y'all backup point guard. This is the backup point guard. Y'all know who that is, right?
Oh, that's D Rose.
Look what kind of shape. Look what kind of shape Derrick Rose is in. Derrick Rose looked like he ain't played basketball in 3 years. How you an NBA player? How you an NBA point guard with a gut? How are you? And this is a real picture of Derrick Rose.
Wow, Freezy, you ain't right, man.
Wow,
this is
Freezy, you ain't right, man.
Right? Hey, if y'all saw him on the Hardwell, if you saw him.
Oh. Wow. Yo, Freezy, you got me over here dying, bro.
Freezy, you just don't know, boy. Hey, you gave me a laugh.
Freezy, I'm over here crying.
Hey, think about it, bro. Think about if you saw this dude on the street and you didn't know his name was Derrick Rose and you looked at his body, would you assume he was an NBA point guard? That's what signing somebody to $14.5 million a year that has no motivation will get them looking like. Right? That's why I'm saying it's addition by subtraction. Subtract these dudes that don't care about nothing. This dude posted a picture of catching a fish. That's the smallest fish. Man, who gonna take a picture of a fish that small?
His stomach is bigger than the fish.
But you know what though, Freezy, I'm gonna say this in Derrick Rose's defense. I'm gonna say this in Derrick Rose's defense. Derrick Rose is still a very good player in this league. He's just not a starter no more. I would take him as a backup, but he can't be. He can't be the start. He can't be the starter, and I can't rely as a backup. I can't give him no more than maybe 12 to 15 minutes a game. That's really what you got to do to save him from them injuries. And to Cash point, when Cash said the jury is out deliberating, see my biggest thing and why I think the jury gonna come back with a verdict of guilty for that front office is because there's 3 guys on this roster right now that the New York Knicks, this front office paid that had injuries, concerns, and they got a history of it. Nerlens Noel, Derrick Rose, and Kimba. Those 3 guys you had your bet on, and 3 of them couldn't make it through the whole season. And one of them need to go give his check to Goodwill. because he and Nerlens Noel. He need to go give his money back.
Hey, Ron, and
he been stealing all season long.
They was hurt before the new year. These cats was hurt
the
before
man
the
was
new
hurt.
year.
Man was hurt in training camp.
Yes.
He was hurt in training camp.
That's what I'm saying. So y'all see the picture of Derrick Rose, right? Think about what you just saw in Derrick Rose, right? My man legit got a gut. Like he work off his job.
I'll take Derrick Rose over these sorry guys. So
I'm not taking Rose. I'm sorry, Ron. You know you my man 50 grand, but I'm not taking Rose.
You can't gamble on 3. And if I'm gonna gamble on 3 on one of the 3, I'm put my gamble on Derrick Rose. I'm not gambling on no Kimba, and I sure ain't gambling on Nerlens Noel.
But Ron, my point is,
he got time to get
why are we even talking about Derrick Rose when we should be talking about Miles McBride? That's the point that I'm
exactly.
getting. That's the point that I'm
McBride
getting.
Quickly.
The reason why I even showed the picture is because one dude is not hungry no more. Right?
You don't think Derrick Rose is still hungry?
No. You see how fat Derrick Rose is? He done ate everything.
Not looking like that.
Derrick Rose still feel like he got a lot to prove, man.
No,
I saw the little thing that he had put out after that surgery, and he was saying how people just don't know. Derrick Rose is still hungry, man. He ain't one of these guys late in their career, Richard Jefferson and them guys chasing rings and looking like they've been retired for 3 years. That ain't Derrick Rose. That ain't Derrick Rose. Like I can't knock Derrick Rose, man, like that. Nah.
I want all these guys.
I would say
get up out of here. Don't even continue on trying to have these guys try to lead and get us to the playoff. Anything, because you failed to get back to the playoffs again. You know what you're gonna do? You're gonna hinder another season of growth for the young guys. If you can't get us there and become a factor in the playoffs, ain't no need to sit around with these dudes. You showing pictures of them? Yeah, they all get the stomach bigger than mine. Get them up out of here. Stop treating Madison Square Garden, New York like a hotel. And dudes on a highway trip on a Greyhound, and you stop and you pull off and you have Madison Square Garden to get a check, man. Stop saving some of these guys. Get them out of here.
Right, and then at the same time, they asked Miles McBride. They was like, Miles, hey, Miles, you know, you worked out with RJ and quickly. So how'd you do? And Miles McBride looked at the lady like they was lunch.
Hey, Freezy, this is the last thing I'm gonna say. Why you think I be asking guys, are you going to the summer league? I'm gonna tell y'all a scenario. If you don't go to the summer league, you might not get a chance to see Deuce McBride. Wow. You might not get a chance to see his game. You might not get a chance to see what he developed or what he can bring to the table if you don't see him in summer league because of what we got going on with our coaching staff in our office.
Right. Yeah. Because you still, Derrick Rose is under contract for how much longer?
2 years.
2 years.
Two more years, right?
At 14 and a half.
We know Tom going to play him. Tom ain't going to give up on him. So therein lies your problem.
That's his man. That's his man.
He gonna keep one or two. Might be him and Taj will be back next year.
And he already don't ask her to marry her on the world's most famous floor. I ain't going nowhere, man.
Oh no.
I forgot about
matter of fact, he gonna retire the Chicago jersey in the Garden.
Oh, I'm gonna tell you this, Boogie,
probably.
In a perfect world,
oh no.
What I expect the Knicks to do is not what they're gonna do to what Jay Boogie was saying. Just go with the youth development. We ain't close to going to no championship or none of that. Continue stacking, getting assets, getting players. Keep doing that, and not getting players. And this is the thing we got to get away from with this mindset: getting players to think about trading for who's disgruntled. I don't want to even think about that. You get players that can play, and who knows, somebody might pan out and be a very good ball player. Because I'm gonna tell you, when you was talking about Boston, a lot of people might disagree with me on this one, but I don't care. When I look at Boston, I'm gonna tell you like this: everybody want to say Tatum is the star of that team. Not me. If I'm starting the team, I'm going and getting Brown first. I'm getting Brown. I'm gonna get him. That man been averaging more points too than the supposed number one on that team, and his defense is better.
But look
and
at
he finishes better at the rim.
And he clutch. Yeah.
Look at who's the leader. Look at the leader. Is the guy who we say is not a point guard.
Yeah.
Smart is the leader of that team. He tells them when they're in the wrong, get right. He's the vocal leader on that team.
That's right.
Yeah, you're right. And that's what I always say, man. When you got a team of defensive players, man, you got something. And that's what killed us this year. Going back to what Freezy was saying. When you switch that identity from that defense to try to go offense,
when you
credit the Ainge again.
When you
3 two-way players.
Yeah,
exactly.
Man. When you added Kemba, and I heard the story about Kemba being disruptive, about not getting playing time, and about how he better than Julius. No, I didn't believe it at first. So I referenced it like, no, this can't be right because Kemba Walker don't look like he that type of person, right? He was smiling. He had his mama at the press conference. He don't look like that type of person that would be that disruptive in the locker room. And then I saw somebody co-sign the same thing. So when I referenced it, cross-referenced it just to make sure this wasn't just a random person spouting off on the internet. The second part had the Johnny Bryant thing in it, not the first part. The second part said Johnny Bryant is what held the locker room together. Yeah. And that if it wasn't for Johnny Bryant, this thing would have been all over the news and all over the papers and all that stuff. And so for one, I was proud of Johnny Bryant because he took on the Mike Woodson role. Usually Woody do stuff like that.
So like a leader of men.
Yeah, pull people to the side and talk to them like, hey man, calm down, man. It just such But it's one of them things, man, where I think you get rid of the disgruntled, you get rid of the squeaky wheel and the fat boy, and let Quickly and McBride play. Give them boys some minutes. Stop doing all this okie doke talking around town.
Exactly.
I should have played them, but now the season over. You can't rewrite history.
And guess what, Freezy? He can't go back on that statement because he done came out of his mouth saying he should have played him. So guess what? You can't go back on that. If you do that, guess what World Wide West gonna do?
He gone.
If Tibbs get fired,
elevated to the 6th floor. He going to see Dolan and he's up out of here.
Yep.
Over and over again, if he gets fired, they should play that statement. Oh, I should have played the kids. Over and over again.
Hey,
I think this thing is shaping up to get fired. I hate to see it. I don't like to see nobody get fired and lose their job, man. But hey, either you shape up or you ship up.
These two things need to happen by the trade deadline. One is we need to be looking like we well far enough in the playoffs. Number two is the kids need to be looking like they really developing, they getting playing time. If those two things are not happening by the trade deadline, you got to get rid of Tom. Don't even play games. Don't even sugarcoat it. No nothing. You are inside your 3 year. We don't honor your contract. We gave you 3 years guaranteed. I don't need to see 4 and 5. He had to be here this year because it was guaranteed. No more guarantees for you, Tom. I'm already don't let him know. When the season started, you got into the halftime mark to make us look like we doing anything. Or you up out of here. I know you my man, but listen, you up out of here. You ain't wore a suit or nothing yet on the sideline since you've been here. Take your jogging suits and get them up out of here. Get up out of here.
To your point, J Boogie, that just goes back to DJ Cash, man. I got to steal his point. The jury is out. They're deliberating on Tom and Leon. This year 3.
They're in deliberations, man. They're in deliberations.
Because he's mad right now. The Rangers we just lost. He mad. He pissed off right now.
The Rangers blow that thing.
He pissed off right now.
Everybody, bro. So if I spew some venom at somebody disrespectfully, I'm just in my emotions, man.
Will be back, man.
And
they got a good
Tom
core.
Thibodeau out here. Out here looking like the what's that movie? He out here looking like the Royal Tenenbaums win a jumpsuit every event.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Freezer, you know, I gotta say something to you today.
Oh snap!
Tibbs out here coaching for his life.
We coming. I know you had the footsteps. We coming. We come. Hey, them Braves coming. Hey,
they don't want 11 in a row.
Hey, we the hottest team in baseball.
They the hottest team in baseball.
And we so deep in that farm system. We got players can't even come up.
Right. You're not the Yankees. You're not the best though.
Hey,
the best team in baseball.
To beat it. Hey, I'm gonna tell you like Flair said, to beat a man, you got to beat the man. And right now, the Braves the man.
Boy,
you know what I mean? Nature boy. Freezer, I appreciate y'all keeping that seat warm.
Hey, y'all ain't played nobody.
We ain't played nobody.
Y'all ain't played. Y'all ain't even got started in y'all schedule yet. Y'all was winning games y'all supposed to win, right?
We 5-5 in our last 10. We played the Dodgers, the Padres.
Hey,
we finally get a break
think
against
about
the
this
Angels.
now. We had a lot more games to play than the Mets. Our season was extended to get that championship. Them boys ain't got right now.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you this quick joke real quick. It was a Twitter war going on about the Yankees, right? And the lady put up on Twitter saying, "Dag, every time the Yankees swing, the Yankee fans think it's a home run." Okay, so that's what she said, right? Then after that, the Yankees hit 6 more home runs, right? So we went back up on Twitter. You know what we say? Shouldn't you feel like every time you hit is a home run?
Right.
And I'm gonna say this about the Yankees: they hit home runs, but let's see what happened in the playoffs. We know what y'all do in the playoffs here of late. Y'all been hitting home runs. Let's see what happens.
It's a different machine this year.
Let's see what happens. I can't wait to play y'all.
Different machine.
I hope we got y'all on the schedule.
You ain't gonna get no tickets. You ain't gonna treat me to a ticket.
Hey, I might treat you to one.
Ron, I hold you to that. We're gonna play them hopefully.
Let me check that schedule, man.
I hope we do play y'all. I'm gonna keep my eyes peeled for that. I'm gonna.
Who talking about the Dolphins?
Hey, that's
Ron, you know Cash at work, Ron. Ron, be careful. You know Cash at work.
Hey, you better look out for Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill and Gesicki.
Man, the Dolphins.
I'm gonna tell you right now, you're not gonna be able to cover them guys. Both them guys running full 240s.
Man, we put one corner. We put one corner out there and shut y'all passing game down.
Okay.
The Dolphins ain't won since Ace Ventura.
You Chicago. You a Chicago fan, man.
Dolphins ain't won since Ace Ventura.
Chicago, man. You know them Bears ain't been nothing since Walter Payton retired.
We gonna steal y'all mascot and y'all gonna miss field goals. That's
y'all best quarterback been Rex Grossman.
Yeah.
The Dolphins need a true purpose.
Huh?
For one, they need to get purpose. For one, I ain't never seen a bunch of men wear a color called mint. They wear mint green.
Ooh. Hey,
that's what I'm just saying, bro.
Hey, the only team in the league with the perfect record, man. You better put some respect on them boys, man.
I would not.
Hey, we got that belt, man.
Hey, Ron, you play football if they try to make me wear mint and tangerine. I gotta wear mint and tangerine.
Mercury Morris, my guy's still popping champagne and eating steaks and getting checks from the league for that perfect season, man.
Hey, Ron, you remember David Overstreet?
Oh man, do I? Man, if that dude when got killed in that car accident.
Yeah, that was my cousin.
Oh,
what?
Yeah, that was my
wow.
Really?
Wow. Man, Boog, I'm gonna tell you, me and my barber talk about that all the time because he's a Dolphin fan. And he talked about David Overstreet. He said if David Overstreet would not have died, Dan Marino would have got a championship.
Right.
Yep. Hey, Ron, you remember that dude Brian Cox?
Oh man, how could I?
Oh yeah,
that was the original.
I don't.
Cannon.
He was trash. I don't. He ain't nobody.
Hey, he was a loose cannon, man. Hey, Freezy. I used to be afraid, man, with Brian Cox because he'd get them penalties like Rasheed Wallace and who else? He like Draymond Green on the football field.
In the most inopportune time.
I mean, spitting in people. Man, he was a loose cannon, man.
You know his son played the Patriots.
If anybody was using steroids on my Dolphins team, I know it was him.
It was Marino. Marino used steroids. I'm just like, hey, guys, I got to get out of here so I can do this graduation thing, man. I appreciate everybody.
Yeah, man. Hey, congratulations.
No doubt, man. Congratulations to him.
Yeah, man. Appreciate
it. Yeah, congratulations.
Congratulations, Uncle Previous.
Yeah, man. Appreciate y'all, man. And we're gonna be back tomorrow, man. Same time. We're gonna try to do it around the same time. Keep up a consistent schedule. Things just been crazy, but I'll holler at y'all tomorrow.
Hey, Freezy.
All right,
you gotta give your closing remarks to Leon.